Party and former governor of Kano State. His bio is long and accomplished, and we've put it online. And in the invitation also to you, you'll find that information. As you all know, this is a series that Chatham House has been hosting in the run-up to the Nigerian elections that are going to be occurring next month. We've had the Speaker of the House, a representative of Nigeria, speaking here. In December, we had Bola Ahmed Tinubu speaking. This week, we had Peter Obi, the presidential candidate for the Labour Party, and we had Professor Yakubu yesterday here, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, presenting on his umpiring and his institution, how it's prepared for the elections. So we do have one invitation outstanding, which is to Mr. Tiku. That invitation remains live and valid if he wants to come and speak at Chatham House. This meeting is fully on the record, not under Chatham House rule. We are live streaming, so we're on a variety of platforms, and we also have media in the room also filming. When we get to the question and answer session, please, if you are being on live stream and you're on our Zoom platform, you are very welcome to send in questions. I am trying to either summarize or reflect the questions that you're asking, because I don't want you to be disadvantaged by not being in the room. And we will also obviously take questions from the audience here. The meeting will run for an hour, and I will give the customary respect to the senator by overrunning by 10 minutes, which is what we have done with the previous two presidential candidates. So no more ado from me. Just to encourage also, if you are tweeting, you can use the hashtag AFPROG to tweet if that's what you wish to do. I don't want to say anything more, except once more say how grateful I am to Senator Kwankwaso for coming to Chatham House. Sir, I thought it was important that you were heard, particularly to international audience also. I tend to think that maybe in the international community has heard your voice less than other candidates, and you have equal importance, in my view, in providing the vision on why you feel that Nigerians should vote you as their next president. So I'm going to invite you now to take the podium to speak on service delivery and policy alternatives. So thank you very much for coming again to Chatham House. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alex. Maybe the difference between me and the other candidates is that they are in the air. Other people were hearing their voices while we are on the ground. So thank you very much, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me once again thank everybody here for coming. And let me begin by thanking the Royal Institute for organizing this event and for inviting me to interact with this global audience. Let me also thank the audience, both the Institute and the virtual ones, for your interest in the peace, unity, and the prosperity of our country. Our country today is facing numerous challenges: insecurity, growing poverty, growing and uncontrolled inflation, growing unemployment and despondency, decaying infrastructure, high rate of maternal and neonatal death, collapsing education system, crisis in the healthcare services, very weak institutions, growing corruption and graft, unbelievable theft of crude oil and other mineral resources, and growing mistrust among the constituent communities of our country, etc., etc. We can point fingers at all sorts of factors allegedly responsible for our situation, from coronavirus to global economic recession, from Western powers to international capital, etc. But for me, where we are where we are because of the mistakes and the wrong choices made by the very people entrusted with the business of governing Nigeria in the last 24 years. I am aspiring to become the next president of Nigeria because I understand the issues involved, the mistakes that were made, the wrong priorities that were set, and together with our team, we are better connected with the hopes and aspirations of the Nigerian students. We understand, agree with, and share grievances. And we have a plan, a practical plan to address each and every challenge bedeviling our country. My pledge to you, the RMK 2023 blueprint will soon be circulated, is a synopsis of my plans for our country when elected. And I implore you to pursue through the document, which for us serves as a social contract between me and Nigerian citizens. For today's discussion, I intend to provide policy alternatives and how we intend to improve services delivery in four core areas: the economy, human security, social issues, and deepening democracy. Although I will be open for engagement in other areas related to the Nigerian state, due to time limitation, I shall focus on these four areas. In designing all our policies and plans, we are guided, among numerous other things, by one important consideration: the future. Not only next 4 or 8 years, and not only next 1 or 2 decades. We look further, we think deeper. Remember, in less than 30 years to come, our country will be the third most populous country in the world, with a population in excess of 400 million people in 2050. We'll overtake Pakistan, Brazil, Indonesia, and the USA. While we plan for today and tomorrow, we also have to think far ahead and start providing answers to some of these questions. How do we feed more than 400 million students? How do we educate them and make them productive for the global market? How do we provide housing and transportation infrastructure for them? How do we provide effective healthcare services to them? How do we provide employment for them? How do you provide uninterrupted power? How do you secure the country internally and externally? How do you maintain our mega cities, etc., etc.? The leaders that our country needs are not those that will come and do business as usual. We certainly do not need perfunctory leaders anymore. We need thoughtful leaders, selfless, competent, credible, objective, transparent, visionary, empathetic, and accountable. Our economic plan. The main goals of our economic policy are macroeconomic stability, that is keeping inflation and economic output close to potential, low unemployment, robust economic growth, sound fiscal balance, sound balance of payments position, that's external position, and sound financial institutions. This will lead to higher incomes and better quality of life for the citizens. To achieve these goals, we have 7 policy agenda. 1. Restoring fiscal discipline. 2. Improving non-oil revenue through reforms in company income tax, value-added tax, as well as reforms in key revenue generating agencies. 3. Improving crude oil and gas production to OPEC target. 4. Ensuring disciplined management float foreign exchange policy. 5. Targeting inflation. 6. Improving the climate for trade, investment, and business. 7. Preventing corruption, wastages, and theft and other of oil and other mineral resources. Fighting poverty and ensuring prosperity. Over 133 million Nigerians, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, (NBS), are living in abject poverty. For a country generously endowed with human and material resources like Nigeria, this is totally unacceptable. We have a practical plan to confront and defeat poverty in Nigeria. A. We shall lift Nigerians from the poverty ditch through targeted poverty alleviation and poverty elimination strategies that ensure families at the bottom of the social ladder have access to food, clothing, quality education, basic health care, and basic housing needs. B. To ensure that those lifted out of the poverty do not return into the poverty bracket, we shall ensure that beneficiaries of our poverty elimination programs maintain good paying vocation, high yielding investment, as well as strategic savings to ensure individual, family, and community prosperity. C. Deliberate steps will be taken from our first day in office to end youth unemployment in our country. In specific terms, 1. Over 2 million job opportunities will be created in the armed forces, police, and other security agencies. 2. Our mass housing plan will provide opportunities to more than 1 million Nigerian youths annually. 3. Our agricultural mechanization agenda will create over 2 million opportunities annually to place our youth in gainful and productive engagement across the agricultural value chain. 4. Our proposed revolution in critical infrastructure will provide over 3 million regular opportunities in the transportation sector and the power sector. 5. Our education reforms, especially expanding access and the mopping up of over 20 million out of school children, will entail the recruitment of hundreds of thousands of teachers and other associated staff in our education system annually. 6. Our plan to modernize healthcare services will not only entail infrastructural and high-tech medical equipment upgrade, but also the recruitment of hundreds of thousands of medical personnel across the 3 levels of care to cater for the ballooning size of Nigeria's population. 7. Private sector will be strong enough to generate even more job opportunities as a result of conducive climate and deliberate government policies in oil and gas, power and energy, solid minerals, telecommunications, sports and tourism, entertainment industry, especially films and music, etc., etc. Tackling Nigeria's security challenges. The main targets of our security strategy is to secure or to ensure that all Nigerians enjoy the freedom to live in dignity, freedom from fear, and freedom from want, and to create a conducive climate for investment and collective prosperity. Four key policy issues are involved: the size and the capacity of the security institutions, enlistment of security personnel, the nexus between security and socio-economic well-being of the citizens, and sustainability issues. Specifically, E, we will ensure justice and fairness to all and the respect of the rule of law by all, irrespective of tribe, religion, region, or social status. This is the foundation upon which peaceful, secured, and prosperous societies are built. B, we will engage and dialogue with all aggrieved groups with a view to addressing every real and perceived grievances. C, we will deploy personnel and set up our technology optimally to ensure that every square meter of Nigeria's territory is secured and protected. D, we will increase the size of Nigerian military from 223,000 active personnel to 1 million. We will increase the size of Nigeria's police from 371,000 active personnel to about 1 million. We will upgrade and modernize the training of all security and law enforcement personnel. G, we will engage the support and cooperation of community leaders and other stakeholders through the instrument of the Community Participation and Reorientation Committees, CPRC, to ensure peace and security in every community in Nigeria. H, we will continue to work with the international community and all friends of Nigeria in the fight against terrorism, banditry, and violent extremism. J, we will engage with and support all our neighboring countries with a view to fighting cross-border crimes and ensuring regional peace and stability. K, our policy proposals in all subsectors, economy, energy and power, education, health, agriculture, strategic infrastructure, trade and industry, women and children, housing, etc., share the all-important goal of ensuring peace, unity, and security in our country. Social issues. Our education revolution. Our revolution in the education sector will be guided by our philosophy of education as public good. We shall ensure through the correct reforms and investment that all our schools provide the best quality education to our students. We have 5 major areas that our revolution will address: out of school and girl child education, national literacy campaign, higher education reform, examination bodies, and scholarships. Some of the immediate actions we intend to take include: A, we shall reform the education sector in its entirety to ensure accountability, expansion of access, and improvement of quality. Every Nigerian must have access to good quality education, not minding their social status. B, we shall incentivize enrollment of the girl child and all the children from poorly served communities. C, we will eradicate illiteracy in Nigeria. Every adult shall have the opportunity to acquire literacy and engage in lifelong learning. D. We will mop up the 20 million out of school children in Nigeria and get them enrolled in schools in the next 4 years. E. Specifically, we will provide 500,000 classrooms across the states of the Federation to accommodate the over 20 million out of school children that we planned to mop up from the streets of Nigeria. We will provide 1 meal per day per child in all basic schools through the innovative involvement of community participation and orientation committees, CPRC, as well as state and local governments across the country. G. Following our successful experimentation in Kano State, we will make all application forms for admission into tertiary education institutions and application forms for employment free. H. We will also make all examinations such as WAEC, NECO, Nnpp, Mbias, JAM, etc. free. This was successfully implemented for 8 years in Kano State when I was the state governor. I. We will introduce a 4-year validity period for JAM examination results so that our children can use the same JAM results again to gain admission into our tertiary education institutions. J. We will upgrade and expand all our universities, polytechnics, and the colleges of education and raise their standard to global competitiveness. K. We will work with all stakeholders to arrest the rot and the decay in our tertiary education institutions and ensure that the perennial industrial action by staff unions is brought to a permanent stop. We will improve funding for research and innovation. M. We will cause the amendment of all acts and laws that impede in provision of quality education across all levels. N. We will introduce competitive foreign scholarships to give bright Nigerian youth the opportunity to study for higher degrees in the best universities around the world. We will significantly improve the funding and support to education at all levels. And P, we will support teachers and other stakeholders to play their roles in making Nigeria attain greatness through education. Social issues, our healthcare reform. Nigeria, like other developing countries, has its share of health problems. Communicable and infectious diseases remain the major health problem in the country, while contemporary demographic transition ushers in a range of non-communicable diseases too. These diseases lead to devastating morbidities and mortalities and have significant socio-economic impact on the country. The top among the diseases are malaria, lower respiratory infections, HIV/AIDS, diarrheal diseases, road injuries, protein energy, malnutrition, cancer, meningitis, stroke, hypertension, obesity, sickle cell diseases, and tuberculosis. Notably, malaria remains the foremost killer disease in Nigeria, accounting for over 25% of under 5 mortality, 30% childhood mortality, and 11% maternal mortality. With about 3.4 million Nigerians living with HIV, The country also had the second highest HIV burden in the world, accounting to more than 9% of the global burden. The morbidity and mortality coming from these preventable conditions take their roots in inadequacy, inaccessibility of quality healthcare, poor sanitation and hygiene, poor vector control, poor maternal, neonatal, infant, child, adolescent, and elderly care system. Other causes include corruption, drug and substance abuse, alcohol abuse, malnutrition, lack of access to safe drinking water, environmental pollution, poor road maintenance, poor healthcare facilities, and poor healthcare worker remuneration and training, among others. Our actions and programs in the health sector will be guided by our philosophy of health is wealth. We shall reform the health sector in its entirety to ensure professional accountability, quality of service, and professionalism. We will improve sanitation and hygiene in public places, provide the general framework for states and local government councils to develop the guidelines for sanitation inspectors. We will provide, in conjunction with states and local government councils, together with CPRC, free natal and maternal health care services for families. In conjunction with other levels of care provisioning, our administration shall coordinate the provision of mobile clinics to access underserved communities across the country. We will upgrade and modernize all tertiary level hospitals in all states of the Federation with a view to expanding access and improving quality of healthcare services. Upgrade and equip all specialty hospitals to tackle the diseases that cause most deaths and disability in Nigeria. For example, malaria, cancer, diabetes, renal diseases, tuberculosis, etc. Undertake comprehensive reform of medical and health education to create more opportunities and meet the manpower needs of the sector. Review the accident emergency protocols in all hospitals to ensure that all health emergency cases are attended to promptly. Promote exercise and sport through programs and interventions support using specialized institutions. Redirect health workers' energy away from trade disputes to professional development and lifelong learning and improvement of skills. Review the laws of all agencies, councils, and such other bodies in the health sector to remove every impediment hampering the effective and efficient delivery of healthcare services, including healthcare education. Minimize health tourism through facility upgrade, services improvement, health workers training, and technology transfer and acquisition. Training of specialized health care professionals for local and international markets, example nurses, midwives, etc. Strengthen the National Center for Disease Control, NCDC, with view to empowering it to identify and eliminate the spread of infectious and contagious diseases in the country through research and innovation. Social issues, women and children. 53.3% of Nigeria's population is currently under the age of 15, and the current total number of children under the age of 5 stands at nearly 36 million, and each year more than 7 million babies are born. Nigeria's women of childbearing age 15 to 49 years of age suffer disproportionately high level of health issues surrounding birth. And there are over 40 million women of childbearing age in our country. While the country represents about 2.8% of the world's population, it currently contributes more than 10% of global deaths for pregnant mothers. Each year, approximately 262,000 babies die at birth, the world's second highest national total. Infant mortality currently stands at 74 per 1,000 live births, while for under fives, it rises to 117 per 100 live births. More than half of our under five deaths, which is 64%, result from malaria, pneumonia, and diarrhea. Poor access to water, sanitation, and hygiene remains a major cause of diarrhea-related deaths. As of 2015, 57 million Nigerians were without access to improved water sources.
Senator, 5 more minutes. We have lots of questions coming in. I don't want the audience to
Okay.
not have their opportunity.
Yes, okay. Let me conclude quickly. In conclusion, my dear compatriots in the diaspora, we are indeed very proud of your achievements as global citizens. We are even more proud that you are playing your role in creating a better world and also serving as good ambassadors of our country. Let me assure you that when eventually the Nnpp is voted into power and I become president of Nigeria, we shall create an irresistible condition and make our country so attractive as a destination for businesses and career aspiration that majority of you will be attracted to better opportunities at home. Given your wealth of experience, good education, and achievements, we believe you will have better and more important roles to play at home under our administration. And for those that have made the host countries their home, we pledge to you today that our administration will work towards ensuring that Nigerians in diaspora are given the opportunity to exercise their civic responsibility and vote in all general elections. Before I conclude this brief paper, let me say that our incoming Nnpp administration will honor all our international obligations related to climate action, trade and investment, fight against terrorism and violent extremism, drug and human trafficking, as well as honor all conventions and agreements that our country is signatory to. While thanking the UK government for the numerous support and assistance being extended to our country, both directly and through a number of development partners, while appreciating the good work that numerous UK businesses in Nigeria are doing to build our economy, our incoming administration will work deliberately to strengthen the Nigeria-UK relations post-Brexit, expand businesses opportunities, and create business climate that will make Nigeria a more attractive destination for investors. Finally, let me say this. Our country is yet at another crossroad. We are facing an election in which, for the first time in 20 years, President Buhari will not be a candidate. We are going into an election at a time when poverty is biting so hard and money-bagged politicians
Kwankwaso.
believe that they can take advantage of the very poverty they inflicted on the nation. But unfortunately, we are also going into this election when the election umpire, INEC, has successfully gotten the enactment of some of the far-reaching amendments targeted at improving the conduct of elections and preventing election rigging in Nigeria. My 30 years experience in politics has taught me that free, fair, and credible election requires so many inputs, so many commitments. Commitment of the president in particular, and that of the presidency in general is key. If the presidency wants free and fair election, it will happen. Thus, the burden of conducting free and fair elections, much as it depends on the performance of INEC, politicians, security agencies, and other stakeholders, it largely rests on the corridors of the presidency. While thanking the UK, the EU, the USA, and other friends of Nigeria for their support in deepening democracy in our country, especially the support they are extending to INEC, I want to appeal to them, to the Nigerian president, to ensure that he leaves a legacy of free, fair, and credible election. Luckily for us, our outgoing president was a serial victim of election rigging and manipulation, and also the first beneficiary of free, fair, and credible election in 2015. We are also aware that some anti-democratic forces are scheming to hide behind the possibility of a second ballot in the presidential election as speculated by INEC to derail our democracy. Let it be known that no contraption in whatever guise other than an elected government will be acceptable to Nigerians in 2023. We in the Nnpp believe that we will win the election fair and square at the first ballot. We appeal to the president not to listen to any proposal that seeks to undermine the 2023 general elections. We also call on all well-meaning Nigerians, as well as international community, to be vigilant. I'm also calling on all Nigerians in diaspora to continue to appeal to the governments of their host countries to continue to support our country and ensure that credible elections are conducted. On this note, I will stop here and listen to your comments and questions. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you. Thank you.
Senator, take a seat for a moment and we'll get some questions, and then you may want to go up to the podium again, because with the live stream, it's certainly a lot more effective if you respond to questions standing up. So who wants to ask a question? The lady there, first of all. I'm coming this way. Madam, there's a microphone just there for you. Do tell us who you are. Keep your question short.
Okay. My name is Mariam Garba. I'm coming from Newcastle, originally from Kano State. I have two questions. Perhaps go for one first. It's on education. So when it comes to education, Honorable Senator, you've mentioned the number of out-of-school children in Nigeria is quite high, going up to 20 million. On another perspective, the yearly affair for the ASU strike in Nigeria is also a concern. So how will the states and the federal government, if you're elected, get children back to school? And what is the proposal for the lasting solution to the ASU crisis?
Okay, thank you very much. If we have time, we come back for second question. The gentleman there with the cap on, I think I know who you support.
Okay, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. My name is Umar Sheikh Umar from University of Brilliance. I would ask a question about patriotism because patriotism is a key requirement for nation building. And arguably, most Nigerians at home or diaspora hardly say good things about Nigeria. This established a crack that the Western world used to say every shitty things about our country. In other words, Nigerians live in the country they don't believe in. Considering this sad reality, sir, how realizable is a new Nigeria?
Thank you very much. I'm going each row at the moment. So the lady there, your microphone. Don't worry, we've got time to come here. The front row is not going to be discriminated against neither. Please go ahead, madam.
My name is Hadiza Humba, and I live in Northampton. Your Excellency, sir, the incumbent president of Nigeria had the best chance and probably some of the best policies to break a record by turning Nigeria around. But there were hindrances and hidden forces, which is not an excuse. How do you intend to deal with these hidden forces? Also, the orientation, Nigerians are heartbroken. How do you intend to make them believe in the system? And again, the day you become the president of Nigeria, hopefully, will be the beginning of the end. What will be the legacy you want to leave? Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'll take one final question, the gentleman in the corner there. Yeah, you, sir, with the green jumper. Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Duke Uputa. I am an independent political analyst and also a Chatham House member. Senator, given that your campaign strategy and promises are very similar to that of Labour Party in many ways, and your main objective is to stop the extraction by the two major establishment parties, is there any circumstances in which you will step aside and cooperate with Labour in order to remove the current extraction in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. Senator, you may want to go to the podium and stand up and respond to those questions.
Thank you.
The final question you received, we did get several of those virtually also. So just a number of people thinking same thing.
Thank you very much. Let me start with the first question from Mariam Garba from Newcastle. You see, for those who are familiar with our antecedents, definitely will have no option other than to believe that we took education very seriously when we had an opportunity. And I want to tell you that in 4 years in Kano, we took over 3,000 young men and women to 14 countries across the world. In fact, when I came here, I met some marine engineers who I think are here with us. So, is there anybody? Yeah, they are here. They are part of over 3,000 that we sent out of the country to 14 countries in 4 years. And that's in addition to the universities that we established, 2 universities in Kano. And I am happy to say that in our country, we have a lot of resources, a lot of money. Anybody who says all these things we are saying are not possible, maybe he is part of the scam or he doesn't understand. We have enough resources, we have enough manpower, we have everything that we require to ensure that each child in Nigeria goes to school. And we have done it when I had an opportunity to go to be the governor of Kano State. Now the 20 million are there. That's why we intend to do 500,000 classrooms in 4 years. We will mop up all the resources that are necessary for doing that. And so that at the end of the day, by the grace of God, our children will go back to school. We have done it in Kano. All our children were given opportunity. by building thousands of classrooms in primary schools, hundreds of secondary schools, 2 universities, 26 other institutes in just 4 years. And we believe it's possible. And that's our pledge to our countrymen and women. So the other question on patriotism, you see, some of the issues that we have is that unfortunately our leaders were not able to bring everybody on board. We are not able really to convince people that there is good leadership and people are benefiting. Now, one small example I want to make is contrary to the issue of patriotism as far as the country is concerned, I can assure you the young men and women who benefited in Kano for the uh, 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 4 years or 8 years I was governor are very patriotic to the state, to the country, and even to our movement, very much committed to that. So that means if we have good leadership that can bring everybody together, I have no doubt in my mind that Nigerians will be patriotic, and in fact more patriotic than many countries that you see today and think they are patriotic. So we will provide the leadership necessary for everybody to be carried along and ensure that everybody is committed to the project and Nigeria. Um, I think the issue of hindrances of our sitting president, yes, I believe there are so many hindrances and they are not different from other expectations or our expectations really. But I want to say that leadership requires a lot of capacity, it requires a lot of experience, people with a lot of education, if you like, and all what it takes really to be the president of the country. So I believe that with our party in power, going by our antecedents, going by my personal experiences, I have been in this game for 30 years now, and I have been in this country for about 10 years. I visited so many other countries as Minister of Defense, as House of Reps, Deputy Speaker, a Constitutional Conference member, and a Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and member of the NDDC representing Northwest, and of course, advisor to President on Darfur and Somalia during those crises. So we know that there will always be challenge to presidents and even to a councillor. And how you handle it is determines the type of person you are. We believe that we are going to do the right thing and the support of Nigerians. I have no doubt in my mind that all those issues that are enumerated and many more that were not being mentioned would be resolved so that we can have a very new Nigeria for all of us. My legacy, one, we want to unite the country. We want to have one solid country that everybody is given the opportunity, not based on his religion or his ethnicity, but based on the content of his character. And that's what we have done in Kano. That's why everybody, even the biggest enemy, believes that we are very strong in Kano, we are very strong in northern Nigeria today in terms of support, because these are the people who actually know us, know what we stand for, know our capacity, and that's why we are so happy today that what we have sown over the years, I mean, this is the time to repeat. So the issue of legacy, we want to have a united Nigeria, a Nigeria that will not go through all this issue of insecurity, the issue of economy, the issue of education, and so on and so forth, especially the issue of ASU that was being mentioned now. ASU and Nnpp, we are on the same page. We are working in direction. In fact, I'm happy to say that when I was governor in Kano, There was a time ASU was going on strike, but Kano branch had to take permission not to join them because they believe that we are doing the right thing. And that right thing will continue when we have the opportunity to bring everybody on board so that, as I mentioned in my speech, we don't have to have or witness ASU or other unions going on unnecessary strike. The issue of labor, you see, that's the problem we have. The gentleman who stood up there, I'm sure he comes from a particular group or a region without even asking him, just because you saw if you have a party which is based on ethnicity and religion, that's the difference between Labour Party and, of course, our party, which is a national party, New Nigeria People's Party. Now, we want, please, you see, while we are accusing leaders of being one thing or the other negative, I think the followers also must learn how to be Nigerians coming from one part of the country. Let me say that I was one of those initially wanting to work together with Labour Party. But unfortunately, at that time, Labour Party was under very serious media hype, and therefore they could not see reason. And you still not see reason that I will withdraw. I wish you didn't go to that extent. You would have said that to work with Labour or to work with APC or PDP. That would have been more responsible. But you cannot come to London. Maybe people who are here don't even know what is happening. And I want to say that our party, Nnpp, is the only growing party in Nigeria today. We have seen the maximum any party, especially the party you mentioned, Labour, to us is like Andrew's Labour salt. Just came, purr, now it's coming down. That's the reality. Just take note of it. And of course, NNPP, our party, is the only party that is now getting support. Forget about big people who are the actual problem of our country. But supporters at grassroots level, we are the only party today. And mark you, we have succeeded in locking northern Nigeria today in terms of votes, in terms of support. Now we are working in the southern part of the country. And for us, the difference between north and south is that north know us more than southern part of the country. If you are from the north, I'm sure you wouldn't have made that statement for Kwankwaso to withdraw for Labour Party. You should go and look at my credentials, my brother. I am a PhD holder in civil engineering. And check your candidate, what he has. I have been in the system for over 30 years now. I have been a civil servant for 17 years. I wasn't a trader, civil servant for 17 years. I was Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps in 1992. I was in the Constitutional Conference elected delegate. I was governor of Kano State for 8 years, and so on and so. I was in the Senate, and so on and so forth. So when we sat down, what I told them is what I will tell you.
Okay.
If anybody wants to Kwankwaso to withdraw, let's bring criteria and select the best. Anytime I have any better candidate, I'm ready to talk to him. Thank you very much.
Let's take another round of questions. We've still got about 20 minutes. So, okay, all right. Right at the front row, you go. There you go.
Good afternoon.
Do tell us who you are. Short question, please.
Mike Abiola is my name, publisher, editor-in-chief, African Voice Newspapers, UK. Senator Kwankwaso, thank you for a very detailed presentation. Let me start by saying your other leading candidates also have brilliant ideas in their manifesto. And we do know that politicians have weaponized poverty in our country. And the prediction is that that those with the deepest pockets will win the election. Having said that, I recognize the fact that your party is hoping to build a new Nigeria. And the question to ask of the four leading candidates, the issue here is trust. The issue is character. You must have had issues like people mopping up PVCs in opposition's stronghold. You would have also been aware of videos circulating on the internet. We have the Article Gate, we have allegation of some others into narcotics and all that. So the issue is character. If you are the receiving end of these allegations, or well, to be seen to be one of those who are peddling and also involved in what it's now known as Article Gate, what would you do? And what would be your advice to your competitors who are involved?
Thank you very much. I'm going to, we have quite a few questions coming in through the live stream through Zoom. One of them is from Chidi Nwoonu, who is saying, as a former Minister of Defense, can you expand on the current problems in the military as you see it and your plans to recruit, train, equip, and sustain new army voices? The question on the armed forces of Nigeria, that's a question. The question is, can you expand on how are you going to reform the military, given your experience formerly as Minister of Defense? And we've been in this row, so this row, and then so the gentleman there, yes, you, sir, yeah, with the green scarf, microphone coming.
Thank you. Your Excellency, my name is Dr. Muhammad, and I enjoy your detailed election. But sir, like most of the other candidates, you have had opportunity. And I as well like your blueprint and theirs, because I've listened to most of them here. I'm a member of Chatham House. I would like to go by your track record, and not only you, as well them, and as well advising them and their supporters. Let's be looking at your previous record and legacy, because it's there in public. Like yourself, you have been governor for 8 years. My question here is, as a young person, sir, can you elaborate based on legacy, what you did to young people and what you intend to do? I want you to link it with your legacy, because we need to know what you did so that we may have more confidence on you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And okay, the lady right at the back there, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. My name is Priscilla Winkle, independent broadcaster. So having listened to you, you made mention of the various things that you intend to do. One of the areas was the economic revamping. And in your manifesto, you speak of that being in 3 parts: the ERP, economic stimulation, and you also speak about job creation and so on. And my question to you is this. Given that Nigerians are renowned for setting up businesses, small business owners, and creating so much within that space, what are your plans to work with the African Free Trade Agreement to be able to expand opportunities for Nigerians, because that's a 1.2 billion market, and Nigerians, as small business owners, could benefit a great deal. We would like to know, sir, what you will do to help them, not only financially, because we know that our financial sector is terrible for business owners. Banks, the loans that are provided are terrible. So please, can you expand on that, what you will do for business owners in Nigeria? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Senator, there's plenty on your plate there. The way I'm looking at the clock, we'll have probably one more round after this. Okay. Go ahead, please.
Me?
Please go
okay,
ahead.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Mike, let me thank you for mentioning this issue of money. deep pockets. I believe that 2023 election is going to be slightly different in the sense that everybody is suffering. Everybody has seen the consequences of collecting money. That is on one hand. On the other hand, these people with deep pockets have made people so poor to the extent that even good food, hot meal, is enough to make them crazy. That's the talakawas, the poor people. But I have gone around the country. I have only one state now to visit in the south. Otherwise, some I went there 3, 4, 5 times by road, going towards local governments and so on. So I believe that people, the masses of Nigeria, are very committed. Our fear now is more of INEC and other stakeholders because we have seen what happened in the past. And most of these issues are centered around the villa and the president, not necessarily this president, the ones before inclusive. And as long as the center, the leadership in Abuja will convince themselves to allow the people to go and vote, I have no doubt in my mind we are going to have free, fair, and credible election. And for me, I have not seen any reason why General Buhari will not allow that to happen, because probably it's one of the only or few legacies that he will leave behind. He has been the biggest beneficiary. When we were promoting him in 2015, we were in opposition. Many things happened, and he became president, despite the fact that he had experience on the other side when he had issues with the stakeholders in conducting election. So we believe that this election is going to be different. And I believe that we'll continue to talk to the people. And the issue of character and trust is very important. And that is our strength. I have been a civil servant for 17 years before joining politics, now 30 years. And I'm happy. I'm still standing here talking to you. And I think that's the best anybody can think of doing. That's the best anywhere, even in this country. To stand in the field for almost how many decades now? If you like 3 or 5 decades, and you are still your integrity is still solid. And I am not sure if there is anybody who can stand up among the leading candidates or even all the candidates and say the same. If you say you'll fight corruption, or you'll fight drugs, you'll fight this, you'll fight that, you can't give what you don't have. And people can come and say whatever here for either local or international audience. But the fact remains, our records are there. And if you don't know, I don't know whether in politics, but anybody in politics will tell you that if you don't know what your grandmother has done before you are born, join politics. They will tell you what she has done. So we are so happy about that. The wanting, I'm so happy I'm not being found wanting. So far, so good. And we have seen the advantage of that. We can only do better in the future. Even those who found themselves in the trap in terms of corruption, in terms of drugs, in terms of all sorts of things, probably given the chance again, they will do it differently. But I'm so happy that right from those days, we stood on the side of the truth. So I have not been found wanting. This question should go to those who are found wanting to answer. The issue of military, the issue of security, I think that's my biggest strength. I have been the Minister of Defense and advisor to President on Darfur and Somalia for 4 years during Obasanjo regime. And during that time, we are not even talking of Nigeria. We are talking of what was happening in other parts of Africa because we are concerned. And that's why our military were in Liberia, in Sierra Leone, in Darfur. I visited them many times. I had discussions with the leaders in those countries. The confidence that they had in Nigerian military was unbelievable. And so also in Nigeria, these are people who are well committed professionals, well feared by the opponents or enemies. And these are the military that we are talking of bringing back. Now we don't even know. I don't know. I belong to the expanded family of military. I don't know what is happening in Nigeria now. But all I know is everything will revolve around what we call political will. If there is no political will, nothing will work. And I think that's what is affecting our young men and women in the military today. So, as former Minister of Defense, Chief Security Officer in Kano, I was in the NDDC. In fact, I left the NDDC because of corruption. So many things were happening. I told the president that time he was not happy. Later, he realized NDDC was in a mess. And unless something is done, they will continue to do so. And in Nigeria, we have to have the reward system and even punishment system. Now everything goes now. If you take, nobody will call you. In Kano, when I was in government, nobody, I can tell you, will go out there and touch 1 naira. And that's why for 8 years I was governor. I'm so happy that for those 8 years, we did not borrow 1 kobo, 1 naira, we did not borrow. All what I did in Kano was done with the state resources. And that's why some people on the here will do 500,000 classrooms, where I will get the money. Don't forget, right as we are sitting or standing here, instead of 2.2 million barrels of oil, we are producing just 1 million, 1.2, 1.1. Where are the remaining? Stolen by some people. Where are the people? Who are the people? And that's why we have to stop that. The fighting in south, northwest, even in northeast, is mainly because of mineral resources. People are stealing it from Nigeria and from outside Nigeria. You will only see helicopters picking gold and other resources. That got to stop. All these assets must be taken over by government and be utilized for all of us. And that is what we stand for in Nigeria. So the young men and women, I can assure you, and I'm sure you know it, the gentleman who asked that question, I'm sure he knows, because our biggest support is from the young men and women. In Kano, we took education seriously. 2 years before I left government, there was nobody in Kano who had university qualification that did not go to university. In fact, our universities, 2 universities, I don't want to use we established. We're not even getting students from Kano. And our agenda, unlike what people were insinuating here, was Kano residents, not Kano indigenous. There are so many people who benefited from southeast, southwest, south. When I went southeast now, I brought so many people, Igbo, who don't even speak Hausa, but they are all over the world under our scholarship. Because ours, your home is where you live, is not where you necessarily born. And I'm happy to say I started politics from being Deputy Speaker House of Reps in 1992. I was not a local government chairman. I was not a champion. I was at national level. I was not even minority or majority leader. Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps, who was a presiding officer of that house. So that's how I started. And along the line, I had all opportunities to be everywhere in the country. And what is important for everybody to learn, including my colleagues, the candidates, is you should try at any given position to be upright. You shouldn't be not be found wanting. And once you are found wanting in countries where they have shame, you don't even come out. You don't mention. So, and you see, politics is not all about making noise. Yes, you are a governor. You have a governor in the corner of a country. That's fine. We have been in the center for many years. Even if I'm not contesting, we want to know that person and say, yes, this is the person that believes in what we believe. Now there are many question marks on some candidates, whether they believe in the country or they believe in seceding from the country. And these are issues in the debate that must come out, and people must come and assure people that this is where they belong. So finally, the lady asked about the economic revamping, helping businessmen and women. This is very critical. You see, in all the countries, you find government subsidizing and supporting people's businesses and so on and so forth, in terms of education, in terms of training and retraining in their respective areas, and of course, in providing capital at a minimum interest, minimum. It's not like where we have in Nigeria 30% to whatever percent. That's not acceptable. So we have to do whatever it takes to support our young men and women. And that's exactly what we did in Kano. We established 26 institutes in just 4 years. And one of them is to train this entrepreneurship, to train them, to give them support. That was why part of the institutes we had was the Institute of those who handle those who found themselves in drugs. We take them there after 3 months. We arrange for them to continue their education or train them in carpentry or welding or whatever they want to do. And then government was rich enough to give them capital even free of charge. We have done that many times and so on and so forth. So our policy is centered on the Nigerians themselves. And I want to underline the fact that ours in the NNPP is not based on ethnicity, it's not based on religion, it's not based in the north and south, even though our strength is in the north, simply because they know us. In the south, to me, we are like living in two countries. Many of the things that we have done in the north, you go to the south, people know close to nothing, and vice versa. And what our duty now is to tell them who we are. And that's why we are working very hard. That's why anytime we have an opportunity to go for debate or a town hall meeting, we go. But you know, many of them are running away. The last one was cancelled just a day before we left by channels and BBC. They aborted it because they don't have anything to say. Thank you very much.
I'm afraid that we have been defeated by the clock. We are over 10 minutes over. The full speech of Senator Kwankwaso we'll put up on the Chatham House website because he wasn't able to complete the whole presentation. So please just keep an eye on our website. My apologies also for those of you who are online that we haven't taken more of your questions. There were many of them. What I will do is pass on the questions to the Senator's team so that they know what you are asking. I think that's the most appropriate way, so they know the issues that you are concerned with. And finally, I just want to thank you, Senator, for coming here to Chatham House. Good luck with the elections, and we hope to see you back soon. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. The microphone's off now. So.
All right. So that was it. So that was Kwankwaso's presentation. We have Des and World Peace here. So we go straight to that. But before we go, actually, let me go to Des first. Take his highlights from that event. So, Des, good to see you.
Yeah. Good morning, man. Good morning, everybody. People in the comment section. I didn't really get in on time, so I came in probably almost at the end. So I would say, basically on what I saw and what I noticed, it's always good to have a presidential candidate, seeing their thoughts and seeing how they're going to basically lead us. It's always good to see that. He didn't dedicate questions, that's still a good thing. Kwankwaso has always been somebody that I admire and I think would have been a really good vice president to P2B, but unfortunately it didn't work out like that. But straight to the questions that I came through on. He answered the questions very well, the ones I watched. He did very well. There was no lapses. But what negative I took from the questions or what the answers was when he started basically, you know, saying talking about, just basically redirecting everything out of what Chatham House should be for, basically talking about other candidates, you know, that is what I would say that was wrong. This is not
Was it not at the invitation of the question? It was invited by the question to make those comments.
no, I don't think so. He was asked the question directly, but when he started saying, unlike people that can't, you know, that saying that they do corruption and, you know, or they'll fix this, you can't give what you can't, I mean, you can't give what you don't have and all that stuff. People that have been here talking, I don't think he needs to say that. I feel like he needed to basically focus on the answers and answer it directly than, opening up such a, beer parlor, you know answer to it. Basically campaigning, Nigerian sort of campaign. This is not, you're not in Nigeria. I feel that was wrong. So apart from that, I think he did good with some of the questions that I saw. Yeah, woman. I'll probably rate him.
Oh,
Uh,
sorry, I thought you could hear me. It was asked about Peter Obi, of course. Which he gave commentaries, but I made note of what he said. But what did you make of that when he was asked about? So somebody clearly from the southeast, because he referred to that as well, asked him then if he was ready to step aside for Peter Obi. He responded, but what did you make of the response?
I didn't get the response, but if you can tell me what the response is, I can comment on it.
All right. I tried to note it down. So it says, "Would you step aside for Peter Obi?" Was the question. It says, and what did he say? He says, I would not be joining Obi because his movement, this is me paraphrasing, he essentially inferred that the Obi movement is ethnic based. And then he also went on to infer that Labour Party has too much media hype, that is not vested in reality, and that their fortune was on the downturn. So that's what he said.
Oh, okay. One thing I would say is that the person that asked that question, it's probably not the right question to ask in that sort of a, organization. If you're coming out as Shetam House to ask questions, you should ask reasonable questions that is supposed to move our country, not asking a biapalo question. But his answer here, it's all good. I now I see why you said it. I didn't watch that, so I didn't. If I watched that, I would have the question brought about the answer, which I think the question should have been asked in the first place.
let,
Um,
let, 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 let me show you the question. Let me show you the question. So here is the guy with the question.
The beginning of the end. What will be the legacy?
Which you will step aside and cooperate with Labour in order
To make them believe in the system.
given that your campaign strategy and promises are very similar to that of Labour Party in many ways, and your main objective is to stop the extraction by the two major establishment parties, is there any circumstances in which you will step aside and cooperate with Labour in order to remove the current extraction in Nigeria?
So that was the question. That was the question. So in his response, he seemed somewhat irritated
yeah,
by the prospect of that question.
yeah. I think anybody would be irritated with the question because that's not a place to ask such a question. Um, and
That was
any answer he gave is justifiable because he didn't come there to start talking about Obi.
during those
I don't know.
crises. So we know have a united Nigeria, a Nigeria objective. I think.
Are you there, Des?
Yeah. I was
Yeah, you went silent
in the background, so I didn't know what it was. So the question is justifiable, but is it the right question? Is it the right? Sorry, the answer is justifiable, but is it the right answer? Me as an obedient, I don't think so. Him saying that is social media and all that stuff I feel like he's still on denial of the whole, this guy that he wants to be his vice, taking over from him and becoming way more popular that he never thought would have been possible. If I feel like if he knew that P2B would be this popular, I didn't think he would have had a second thought becoming a vice to P2B. But since it was basically from the original, in the beginning, we didn't know what was gonna happen with the space. So I feel like he's still on denial and he doesn't want to admit that, this guy has already left him. But
if you had listened to I just find the spot just to replay it again, just for the benefit of the conversation. But if you had listened to his response in that space, there was a visible irritation in his voice, that just the audacity of the question. In fact, he went almost ethnic in the way he responded.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. I don't. His answer is justifiable because the question to me is stupid at that place. It's a stupid question to ask. You're not coming there to ask stupid questions. You're coming there to ask a reasonable question that demands a reasonable answer. So him being irritated with the questions is very justifiable. I don't blame him for that. I would blame the questionnaire. And yeah, Omar, I don't know what else to say. I feel like he.
All right. What about?
Can I interject?
Yeah, who's that? Is that Mr. Ed?
It's Mr. Ed, yeah.
Yeah, come in.
Yeah. No, I wanted to say that I mean the idea that you have stupid questions, I don't believe in that. I think you can only have stupid answers, right? I mean, it's a fair question, right? I mean, because they did have a talk, of a merger, and I think what prompted that question, as I read it, was the fact that Kwankwaso was talking about dislodging the two big parties, the APC and the PDP. So that makes.
Can I disagree with you, Mr. Ed? It wouldn't have been that because the people asking the questions, they would have come with pre-prepared questions to ask. So it won't be questions inserting into the conversation, no, because if you see the questioning is already they're already pre-prepared that this is what I'm going to ask him if they give me the opportunity to ask. So
Yeah, but you don't know that, right? I mean,
well,
it couldn't be.
Yeah,
No, look, I mean, regardless, right? So I mean, what I'm saying is that you can't say, hey, somebody cannot ask a question. You are a politician, you are a statesman. Any question you can be asked of you at any time. Irritated or not irritated, it's how you handle yourself. You know what I mean? So I think if you're able to see him visibly being irritated, that doesn't show professionalism to me. Because I think he should have answered the question more in a better way. I think because it's a fair question because basically he's saying, okay, hey, okay, yeah, sure. I think he would feel offended that you asking me to step down, but he could have, stated more his why, you know what I mean? He's maybe a better candidate or whatever, not attacking, the other opponent party or whatever, because that place wasn't to attack other parties. It's to tell Nigerians and the world, what you're going to do for Nigerians. So I think it spent too much time just attacking and talking about some people say social this and that. I thought it was too political.
All right. Can we remind ourselves how we addressed that particular question maybe I misread it, but let's just remind ourselves how we address that. So let me bring him on. Let's put it there. Let's just see if we've got the right spot.
The issue of insecurity, the issue of economy. Sure, he comes from a particular group, not go through all this issue of on board, so that, as I mentioned in my speech, we don't have to have or witness ASU or other unions going on unnecessary strike. The issue of labor, you see, that's the problem we have. The gentleman who stood up there, I'm sure he comes from a particular group or a region without even asking him, just because you saw, if you have a party which is based on ethnicity and religion, that's the difference between Labour Party and, of course, our party, which is a national party, New Nigeria People's Party. Now, we want, please, you see, while we are accusing leaders of being one thing or the other negative, I think the followers also must learn how to be Nigerians, not coming from one part of the country. Let me say that I was one of those initially wanting to work together with Labour Party. But unfortunately, at that time, Labour Party was under very serious media hype, and therefore they could not see reason. And you still not see reason that I will withdraw. I wish you didn't go to that extent. You would have said that to work with Labour or to work with APC or PDP. That would have been more responsible. But you cannot come to London. Maybe people who are here don't even know what is happening. And I want to say that our party, Nnpp, is the only growing party in Nigeria today. We have seen the maximum any party, especially.
Oh, okay. So if we pause it there so I think that captures it. So yeah, quite clearly irritated by that question. So Des.
Yeah,
You're breaking off.
Place of people acting to know what the potential presidential candidate is supposed to do for Nigeria, not to know what how they are going to running their politics or whatever. Is to know what their ideology is and all that. But the person that they gave the chance to ask the question, I think he didn't take very good advantage of that chance. And Kwankwaso saying that the person is from a particular section of he doesn't know what section the person is from. He basically sounded very mythical in his tone, and it doesn't show a very good leader. Even if the question was stupid, he still probably needed to answer it in such a way that shows that you're sort of a presidency material, not just answering the question like you're trying to induce some sort of political sentiment or whatever. But yeah, both
Can I
the
interject one
questioners
minute?
and the person that answered the question didn't do very good.
All right, let Ajanle Koko interject, and then you sum up on just the general performance, and then we go on to War Peace. But Ajanle Koko, good to see you.
Yeah, one man. Good morning, brother Alessandra, and good morning to every other panelist. One man, good afternoon to you in Britain. Look, I think the question by that guy was a very, very foolish question. And Kwankwaso response was very accurate, and what he did was just to put a permanent stop to that kind of nonsense call that have been coming from obedient, particularly people from the East. You know, this is not the first time we had this call from obedient and people from the East, in particular, calling on Kwankwaso to step down to step down for Peter Obi.
Adeleko, I disagree. It's not. Sorry.
No,
I
hold on.
disagree.
Sorry, let Adeleko run through with that, and then you have that interjection, and then because I want to really condense the session. Yeah.
Even Jewel, that is trying to disagree, he have said it several times on this platform. Even Ed, I've said it several times from this platform that Kwankwaso should step down for this guy. And coming on the international stage to act stupid, the guy is an Igbo guy. His name is Oputa. And for him, Kwankwaso, to see on international stage somebody from the East again telling him that why can't you abandon? He didn't even say that is there a way you can work with Obi to see how both of you can rescue this power from this criminal that have destroyed Nigeria. But you are asking him, step down for him, and you go and work with him. Step down. That was what that guy called on Kwankwaso to do. And Kwankwaso saw it as an opportunity to put an end to this nonsense. And, you know, he fired back immediately. And then he positioned himself strongly by matching his own credentials in terms of his educational qualification and that of Obi, you know, for people to see. And then his political experiences
Sorry,
and positions.
that was one of the things I said on one of these platforms that I went on, by the way, and they launched at me that look,
yes,
in terms of credentials, you know,
credentials.
Yeah.
He compared his own credentials with that Obi to tell the world, look, I am more educated than this guy you send out to step down to for. And in terms of political experience, I've held several political offices, elective offices, and political appointment. And the top of them all, in terms of appointment, Ministry of Defense, I have served in international at international capacity for this country. And you're asking me to step down for somebody that cannot be of any match to me when it comes to politics, when it comes to experience in governmental position. So that was a window of opportunity for him to come out strong, and he did it. That was perfect. I love him for that. That was the best response among all his answers in that Chatham house. I mean, people should learn how to act decent and not stupid. That guy was the one that invited that attack, or that response. I wouldn't say even attack. That response from Kwankwaso. You can't be acting stupid everywhere you go. You are an Igbo man. You mention your name. You are an Igbo man, and and Igbo people have been calling on internet and everywhere. They have been all this noise have been going every time that he should step down, and then you brought it to an international stage, and you think he should just let it go. No, it's an act of stupidity. So he responded well, and maybe this will teach them a lesson that wherever they go, they should be acting right and know the kind of question you can ask people. So that guy was the one that brought shame. He brought shame on Obi.
Is there any
He
time you
brought
guys comment
big
to this?
shame. Hold on, man. Let me finish,
Yeah.
man.
No, I'm just a little bit surprised, guys. You know,
Let me
every time
finish.
it's all
Let me
about
finish.
ethnicity.
Let me finish. Let me finish. He brought shame on Obi. He did not market Obi well, even though he's an obedient to the core by the way he asked that question. So he brought shame on Obi, and it's just unfortunate that he went to display his stupidity at the international stage. So Kwankwaso did well. One man, let me leave it there.
All right, brilliant. It was not the right question, but maybe the response from
Can I come in, one man?
Yeah, hold on. It was not the right question, certainly not. It was it went with the intention of doing that, maybe for his space, wherever it sounded like he was in some sort of space where all these conversations go on, and he wanted to fit that back. But it certainly was not the right question. But maybe Kwankwaso was a bit excessive in the way he responded. He could have just shut it down diplomatically, given that he was on an international stage. But he showed his irritation, which I'm not sure was the thing to do. So have that say, Joel, and then round it off, Desmond, and then we hear from Alexander Gomez.
One man, precedence. Precedence is a key that you can use to understand or you can use to predict, what someone can do and cannot do. Prior to this period, even when Obi was when they were talking about the merging, when you see Kwankwaso address Peter Obi, remember, Kwankwaso was one of the people that was peddling the idea that no one in the North would vote for an Igbo man. Kwankwaso was the first person, when Obi came out the first time, it was Kwankwaso. The way Kwankwaso addresses Obi, you find out that he has an innermost hatred for him. Forget about it, one man. The question that in class, in school here, in fact, even in our families, there are no stupid questions. As a leader, that is why you're a leader of those with common sense and those without common sense. You are a leader of those with good questions and those that will come with stupid questions. What matters at the end of the day is your courage, is your character, is the way you address things as a leader. You do not wear your emotions on your sleeve. You went as far as even going tribal. What if that person is from Delta? What if that person is from Rivers? What if that person is even a Yoruba person?
Oputa is not Delta name. It's an Igbo name.
Oputa. There is Oputa in Delta. There is Oputa in Rivers. I am telling you what is going on there. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it was so wrong of a leader. He had no self-control that he could go on an international stage and poo-poo the way he poo-pooed. That's a disgrace. I could not believe it from Kwankwaso.
All right, thank you, Des. Thank you, Joe. Rather, I mean, obviously, people welcome to mention it, but I don't want us to fixate, especially on that, because he gave a whole performance. So, to that performance, Des, give us just the highs and lows, and then the highlights, and did he come out a winner or a loser out of it? So, just sum up your thoughts, and then we go on to Alexander Gomez.
Yeah, one man, I would say is in between. He came out as a winner because he answered questions, some questions outrightly, and that's where he won. But some of the questions that he was talking about other opponents and other contestants, I think that was wrong of him. But I would give him a pass mark of maybe 6 out of 10 or 7 out of 10.
Okay, well, that's a pass mark. So brilliant. So let's go on from you then. Let's go on from you then to Alexander Gomez. So Alexander, good to have you. So that was Kwankwaso. He put up a performance. I was somewhat impressed. That's the second time now that I've been impressed just by his presentation. If not essentially his policies, there are elements of his policies that does impress, but certainly the way he carries himself, very much I'm impressed. But are you? So to Kwankwaso and his presentation, your thoughts, Alexander?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Aja. Good morning, Jewel. Good morning, everybody. He's a very articulated, Hausa man, isn't it? I was impressed. He's a core politician, isn't he? And he has a track record. He has antecedents that precedes him. So he speaks with a lot of confidence. I wasn't expecting anything below performance. I was expecting exactly what I saw today. It still doesn't mean that he's gonna win the elections, but I think that he will be the leading presidential candidate from the north, as it stands today after the departure of Buhari. I think Atiku. I think he takes over the mantle. I can see him being a future president because if the South wins the elections and everything indicates that the next president will be from the South region, the next 8 years he'll be a political megaforce, and I can see him easily becoming the president of Nigeria. There's no two ways about it. I need to address that irritation coming from him. This is why I have reservations about Northerners. There's something about them that just rubs me the wrong way. His response was snobby, was totally out of order. It was condescending. I thought he overreacted, and I thought it was unstatesmanlike to do that. I was not impressed with his response at all.
Would you say is a northern or more to his personality?
No, it's a northern thing. It's
no. Lamido Sanusi would not react like that. Shehu Sani,
no, he would do exactly the same. No, he
Shehu
do
Sani
exactly
would
the
not
same.
react like that, but perhaps
No. When
Kwankwaso's personality than
no. It reminds me of my younger days in England when you do something stupid and a white man looks at you and tell you, "Oh, I don't blame you," and you know what that means. No, they have that arrogance about them when it comes to the northern-southern confrontation. I experienced it personally in 1977. The only time I've experienced it, and Atiku has it. That's why I don't like Atiku. I've said it here before. He has a sense of entitlement. I'm not trying to be tribal over here. I don't have to be tribal. I'm saying it the way it is as a 60-some-year-old man. I've noticed this a lot about them when it comes to the South-North confrontation. They do it all the time. But that was not the place to do it. I was offended by it. Not to say that it was the smartest question in the world, but his response was totally out of order. I thought he overreacted to something that just needed for him to just answer in 1 or 2 words and move along, like you said. That's the way I see it. But
is that not the spilling out of a building up? Has it not built up to that spot? Because unfortunately or fortunately, however you're looking at it, it found expression on an international stage. But that irritation, it wasn't an irritation of that moment. It's an irritation of all of the moments that he has had to encounter that. Knowing who he is and knowing who Peter Obi is. You see that he went on to read out his CV again for the benefit of people who may not be acquainted with him, and then to ask then that I have X, Y, Z, all of this, why should I subordinate myself to somebody whose credentials are nowhere near mine? So that's where the irritation is. Do you see?
One man with due respect, I absolutely unequivocally disagree with your assertion right there. When President Barack Obama was the president of the United States, there was nothing this hillbillies and this white folks didn't do to get him irritated so they can turn around and say, didn't we tell you, when you're a statesman, you need to
Exactly.
have a certain disposition about you. Things like that shouldn't get under your skin. You should rise above that, So I do not subscribe to that statement you just made. He overreacted. He needs to do something to remedy that space, because that puts him in a bad light, in my opinion. I thought it was extremely condescending. That's the only word I can look for right now.
All right, but in terms of his overall performance, because other things he spoke on as well, he said he was going to build 500,000 classrooms in 4 years. So note those words: classrooms as opposed to schools. So which are units? So expansion of existing schools, building of new ones, but really 500,000 classrooms within 4 years by mopping up resources, he said. He says his legacy will be to united Nigeria, and then it did the Obi thing, and then he talked about that he has charge of Kano, and even all of his opponents, they concede that. So that's his calling card to the election. So all of that. So he was more than just the Obi space, but in the
Let me
totality
let me address those key points. I'm going to go back to this again. From his reaction today, and from the way that he has a disposition to get easily irritated, I don't see how it's going to unite the Nigerian space. Nigeria is a complex country, very complex country. We said it, and I don't want to sound like a broken record. I don't see anything in what he did today, from his reaction to a very simple question. I don't see him have the personality and the disposition to unite any country. But I know that he has education is very important to him. And I remember my father telling me when I was much younger, about over 60 years ago, that the only thing you can do to beat a white man is to show him you've got quality education. White men don't care about luxurious things, expensive cars. You live in England. What matters to them is for you to sit down with them and speak to them in a language and say, "Oh, he's different." Biden said it of Barack Obama. That's a different black person. So I respect his love for quality education. He's done in the past. I'm sure he'll do it again. So yeah, like I said, imparting I can see him becoming the president of Nigeria in 8 years, because once the big boys who are a generation ahead of him, i.e. Atiku and what's his name, and Buhari, Buhari, the northern elites. Yeah, once they step aside due to age, I can see him taking over the mantle. He has a lot to offer the country, but I think he needs to do something about his attitude.
All right, brilliant. Well put. Always well put by Alexander. So thank you, Alexander. Let's go from Alexander to World Peace. So World Peace. So your
Common.
Yeah.
Sorry, maybe sorry, I'm just joining anyway, but then I just joined briefly just to leave. I don't have a lot of time, so maybe just
okay. I'll come to you then. With your permission, World Peace, let's go on to
one man. Give this guy. I'll use the floor for this guy. I'm doing something very interesting inside the car. I'll talk to him.
Well, don't. What you see? You are conjuring images in
What
people's
is
mind.
be careful?
Don't be doing interesting things in the car. What's this? With this man? What is this? We had it from Joe yesterday. Now you. All right. So. All right. So Uptown, you're up next. Kwankwaso, his space and his performance. Your assessment. Uptown.
Okay. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening, everybody. Yeah. I mean, one man is this is afternoon in Nigeria, so I'll say it's a sad afternoon for me. what I saw in Chatham House today, coming from somebody I respect a lot. I think I have made that. I've said it in this platform over and over again. I think he's one of the brightest. He's one of the brightest people from the northern Nigeria in terms of politics, well educated, PhD, and what have you. And I've always equated him with Obi because I feel they have this more progressive disposition, especially in education, because it's a big deal for me in education. Because I believe a society is as strong as the number of educated people it has. So, which is one of the strongest things that connect me with Obi. And I found that disposition in him as well. So I felt that was had this affinity to him as well. But one man, what he showed today in Chatham House is, I mean, it's not super strange. I won't claim it's super strange. He's highlighted it a bit, even when they were trying to do when Nnpp and Labour Party was trying to build a coalition. He granted a couple of interviews on channels on Arise TV. He has shown it before. I mean, he said then that he said something like he cannot be vice president, and Southeasterners that his followers, the
No,
Northerners,
no,
are not going to.
settle down. It wasn't being ethnical, by the way.
No, wait, now wait. One
It
man, let me
was
finish.
matching. It was matching his credentials. That's what it was. So
No, 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 no,
it
no.
wasn't
One man,
anything
wait.
to do with Southeast. It was to say
No,
that my
wait,
this guy is my subordinate. But carry on. Okay, carry on.
wait. Yeah, yeah. Apologies to Ajan Likoko for when we're talking about narcissism, and everybody forgot Kwankwaso, and everybody was happening on Showore. Ajan Likoko, please forgive me. Please forgive me. Please, that number one list was a Kwankwaso list. Please, it wasn't Showore. So, as I was saying,
Oh. You are changing to Kwankwaso today because he hammer your man. I mean, what? Don't
The
just
hypocrisy, you know.
yeah. See that
This small
hypocrisy.
boy trying to do
no, it's not
You
hypocrisy. I'm being
trying to do that to bribe me.
abracadabra.
He's trying to play abracadabra. He want to bribe you. See what
Baba
he's
is
trying
not a
to do.
bribe.
He's trying to bribe me so I can switch. Look at this obedience. One man, Joe Ragba, one money.
But Adele Koko, Babaja, but you know that Showore would never make that kind of statement.
All right, no,
That's
let's
the
not open
difference.
the show space just for time.
No, let's not go. Okay, so one
yeah,
man. Let me
carry on.
continue
Yeah,
real quick. So a statement he made on Channels TV when he was asked about the coalition and what have you, and then he started saying that Southeasterners, that Nnpp joining them and being vice president to him is their only chance of getting close to the presidency. That his followers, Northerners, are not going to vote for a Southeast president. He said it in Channels TV. He said it. And what they asked him, they didn't ask him if you are going to collaborate with Southeast. They say, are you going to collaborate with Peter Obi? But for some reason, instead of him to address Peter Obi as Peter Obi a candidate, he took it to the Southeast as if Peter Obi is a Southeast president. You know what I'm saying?
Point.
So that is profiling. And he has shown those characteristics before, but then because of I didn't really take it too serious on him. It was a red flag for me then.
Do you think the question the guy asked was a reasonable question?
It was a very stupid question. That's why I wanted to, before I came in, if Mr. Alexander had already talked earlier, I think I wouldn't have come in because I think he spoke my mind. But then, I mean, I just came in to literally say what he has said already. But the question, that man that asked that question is a very, very nonsense person. How can you come to Chatham to tell somebody to step down for another party? Very rubbish person. That I was fun. I was so annoyed at that guy that asked that question. And anyway, let me just forget the guy because he's not running for office. Let's talk about the guy running for office and his response. As annoying as the question is as annoying as the answer is, coming from a presidential candidate. And one man, what I saw in that outing, apart from the fact that the environment was boring, it was like a typical African politician with the African politician ego, typical ego. The environment was boring, non-welcoming, low energy. I mean, Tinubu did far, far better. Come on. We're not even going to go to Obi. But then, apart from the environment,
what do you mean by boring?
It was a very boring setting. The energy was low.
Didn't you see people
energy was
clapping?
low.
Didn't you see people clapping? Didn't you see people asking questions? Didn't you see him answer the questions clearly?
Ajali Koko, can you compare?
What make it boring?
Can you compare the liveliness of that place and what we saw yesterday with Obi's space?
No. What make it boring? Tell me what happened there that make it boring?
No, we are doing a comparative analysis now. We have Tinubu, we have Tinubu's own, we have Obi's own, and now we have Kwankwaso. His own, he's the most boring of the three.
It's not what they mean by boring.
Means
his own is the best among the three. His is the best among the three. You have your prejudice against him because you are obedient. So you are
How can I have my prejudice against Kwankwaso?
You are listing with prejudice, and the
I
way
cannot listen to Kwankwaso with prejudice. I've said very good things about him in this platform.
The way you went frontally,
you need to calm down and see where I'm coming from.
The way you went frontally
well about
against that
Kwankwaso on this
guy
platform,
that
it is
asked
me.
that question, the way you went frontally against that guy angers you, and that is why you are saying that.
Did you hear me condemn the guy that asked the question?
No. All right. Ajali Koko,
I condemned it. I thought
carry on
it
with
was
this
one of the most stupid questions I've heard in Chatham House.
No. Sorry.
But then
carry on with your submission. Carry on with your submission.
All right. It was one of the most stupid questions anybody has asked in Chatham House. I don't know how you gained entrance to that space, but again, just like Mr. Alexander pointed out, we are now talking about the candidate, the guy that is going to be president. How did you respond? If you wanted to address the guy, address him as a person who asked a question that you didn't like. And I'm not saying maybe pretend that you liked it, but then address him. Do not address him as if he's speaking on behalf of a tribe. That is the problem we usually have. And he has done it a couple of times in the past where so they say somebody says something about Nnpp, and then he leaves the person and start addressing the tribe of the person and saying those people think he likes those kind of phrases a lot. And Buba Galadima does it a lot as well. And the fact that this is an international stage, that's what's angering me. It's not like they've not been doing it, just that nobody shared. This is a guy that came to BBC Hausa and said candidates that wear pampas. But he doesn't make it in the front of the news, his irresponsible speeches. Why? Because nobody really cares about him. You know what I'm saying? He said candidates that wear pampas. Why will you say such thing about somebody? Are you in Bola Tinubu's room? Are you seeing him wearing pampas? But nobody, he didn't make it to the news. So what I saw, one man, apart from, again, I repeat it, boring environment, one of the most boring. Tinubu's environment was Christmas, celebration compared to it. It was non-welcoming. It was a typical African politician, low energy and all of that. But apart from that, personally, his question and answer section, what I saw there was sheer arrogance. What I saw was attacks of other candidates. I mean, Obi was there throughout yesterday. Not once did he mention any candidates, any party. He didn't mention APC, he didn't mention PDP. I don't even think Bola Tinubu mentioned Labour Party or PDP there. But this guy comes immediately here and he's talking about Labour, APC, this, that. The profiling, I saw attacks, unnecessary ones, unwarranted ones. I saw profiling, a lot of it. Ethnic profiling, religious profiling. This, you say listen, he said some party that is a sectional party and religious party, and then on the same breath he says my party have captured the northern Nigeria. Like, really? You are accusing another party of being a section or part of a country, and then on the same breath you say your party has captured northern Nigeria. Inflated self-ego. You have not captured northern Nigeria, and the results is going to show that. Now, the attacking the questionnaire was wrong. Profiling him was wrong. Profiling the question, which is a private question, not a tribal question, a question that was sent in by any tribe, was wrong. And then his disposition, the one man, the disposition was so. I thought Tinubu's Chatham House was going to be the lowest bar of it, but come on, this guy has taken it so low, and he lost my respect. And I wouldn't have really cared. One man, you have not heard me speak about somebody like this, but I wouldn't have really cared if it's maybe an article that came. You know me already. I've cancelled the article in my head. If it's the article, I won't even come into this platform to talk, because I mean it's not even necessary. But now, article is salad where Kwankwaso is, as far as I'm concerned. This is someone I respect so much. The PhD holder, educated. I mean, very educated. He speaks coherently. Rather. I mean, coming to play this tribal politics, ethnic jingoism, profiling, unnecessary arrogance, and all of this. One man, and then he says his legacy is uniting Nigeria. With that disposition, that is what you used to. If that disposition is what you used to, you'll be worse than Buhari. Buhari have not even showed that level of disposition. It's just like bringing Buhari and then adding educational arrogance to Buhari, and then you get Buhari Pro Max in terms of ability to unite Nigeria. He's going to scatter Nigeria. He's going to divide Nigeria. That disposition cannot unite anywhere, not even a classroom. You get what I'm saying? So I think you're talking about building 500 classrooms. Last time I checked, primary and secondary education is under states. I don't know the classrooms. Are you talking about tertiary classrooms, or are you going to go build classrooms for primary schools for governors in their states? I'm yet to. That one is an open question. Maybe somebody might want to respond. But one man, this is a very, very. I mean, I was watching my laptop. I was irritated. I was like, even when he was answering the man's question on joining, which is a very stupid question, I must say again, but it even took so long. Just 2 sentences would have dismissed that question. One man, let me give you an example. Yesterday, Obi was asked a question on IPOB, which I feel he has answered that question so many times. Even the previous day, he answered that question. As you can see, he even told the guy, he even called you, my dear brother. Maybe you have not been following me. Even yesterday, I answered the question. The way he responded to that, even though people in the crowd was trying to harp on the guy. You understand what I'm saying? But Obi, the person they questioned, was like, my dear brother. Maybe you weren't listening to me, but this is what I said. I said this and this and this and that. He didn't start even though that guy was a northerner. He was a northerner, so Obi could have started profiling the question based on the name of the guy, of the questionnaire. You don't do that. He is a Nigerian and he asked a question. Whether it's a question you like or not, you respond to it. You mustn't call him your brother like Obi would do, but then respond nicely. Even if you're angered, then respond with 1 sentence or two. Just say, you can even call him out. Just say, I think that question was a disrespectful question, but again, it's fine. This is our position, this and this and that. Over to the next question. Very mature, very senior, but he wasted almost how many minutes in that question? One man, that was a terrible performance. I've not rated any person out in this low before, not even Atiku. Atiku is now my best friend in the north.
All right, and that is nothing to do. And that is nothing to do with the way he responded to stepping aside from Peter Obi. That's just your honest appraisal.
The general question and answer section oozed of arrogance, unnecessary attacks on opponents on an international stage. This is not Kaduna rally or Kano rally or Edo rally or whatever. This is an international stage. You're selling yourself to international investors. There's a lot of international media people there. You're selling yourself to potential people. You are trying to profile an image for Nigeria, or rather a possible image for Nigeria post-May 2023. And that is what you are coming to show us. If I'm international, if I'm a Kenyan investor there, Zimbabwean investor, American investor, if I'm seeing that, and this is going to be the next president of Nigeria, I don't think I'm going to have any hope. One single tax that you went to Chatham House to sell is sell your personality and sell a hope for a better Nigeria for me to come and invest or do business with you. He failed on the two criteria as one man.
All right, brilliant. Well put. Always well put. So that's Uptown, of course. You all know Uptown. So thank you, Uptown. So that from Uptown, then we go back to War Peace. Hopefully, he has stopped he has finished the interesting thing he was doing.
I was just joking. I was
I
just
know.
joking. I went to pick my friend from the airport, so he was giving me $50 to buy gasoline. That's why I was just making fun of him.
No, I was only
Anyways,
joking. So to Kwankwaso, yes, his performance, your response.
I was following it, but finally I was driving there. I went to the airport to pick my friend, so most times I put it on pause. But I heard the part when he was talking about some policy that you're going to increase the Nigeria military from 250,000, he said, right, to 1 million. Am I right?
To 1
Is it 1 million you
to a
said?
million, yes. Yes.
I
Maybe,
was
yes,
wondering how,
it's always said that, yes.
I was wondering how that's going to be possible. Huh?
No, I
Hello?
said carry on.
Yeah, so I was wondering. Now I'm going to challenge this policy. I was wondering how that's going to happen, and if Chatham House was a place to say that you're going to increase your military might to 1 million. If your military is so formidable, we will not. With that means we cannot demand for our rights and all that. And people, if you go against the interest of the people that is making money from Nigeria, I don't think that kind of information is what is supposed to be talking about there. Anyway, but in the performance, I wasn't expecting anything new. I know they're not going to go there and say what they want to say. And are they going to really do what they're going to say? No. And Kwankwaso is not really in the play. So I'm not really taking his speech serious. Though he might have a good economic-based speech and all that, but I don't think I would take it serious. One man, I don't really have anything to talk about it. I didn't listen to it much. But at the end of the day, it was not important for me for them going to Chatham House. It's not a really big deal. Why are they going to Chatham House? Why can't they go to Chambers and Commerce, British Chambers and Commerce, or the House of Law to speak to those people? Those are the people that can really make a difference. Not people in Chatham House. People in Chatham are just regular journalists that come there. Mama, let me use the floor for somebody else. I'm heading home. I'll be listening. I will target later if I have something good to say.
All right, thanks. Drive safely. So we go on from our War Peace to Joel of Nashville. So Joel of Nashville. So we are looking at the overall presentation of our Kwankwaso in that space. Yes, of course, if you want to do the step aside, you can, but don't centrally focus on that. The overall presentation, your impression, Joel of Nashville. Joel, after all that build up, okay. All right. Temporarily not available, Joel of Nashville. So let's go on to Ajanle Koko, get his feedback. So Ajanle Koko, you're up next.
Yeah, thank you, one man, and greetings to our listeners around the world. Click on the like button, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so. Kwankwaso did very good. I think it did better than those than Tinubu and Obi, because it delivered his speech excellently well, and he answered the question straight to the point. Every question that was asked, he answered them straight to the point in a very clear way that everybody can understand it.
All right. It looks as though Ajanle Koko has gone to attend to affairs. So as we wait for Ajanle Koko to come back, let's go on to Mr.
I'm back, Mama.
Oh, you're back.
Back.
All right. So yeah, back to you.
Yeah. So so he answered all the questions very well in a clear manner, and people that will not like the question, I mean, obedient. I don't expect them to rate him in any way or to say that he performed well because of the singular thing he did to that guy that came up with that foolish question that he should step down for obedience. So I believe they will not see him. They will not rate him in any manner. They will not rate him in any way that he deserves. But to me, Kwankwaso did very well. And what I like he did the best is the way he answered that guy. You see, some of these obedient people, we have been saying it in this platform, that they demarket to be more than the way they should market him. If majority of obedient, let's say, if majority of them are like Uptown, the way Uptown present is, the way he market to be, and Zaki father. I mean, they will have succeeded in, packaging this guy better to Nigerian people across the length and breadth of that country. But all this violent attack on other candidates, on Tinubu, on Kwankwaso, on every other candidate, even Atiku, that Obi call his boss all the time, they will still come and attack him. Somebody that your mentor call his boss, you still go and attack him every time. So does that not show stupidity on their own side? Atiku, they attack him, and is their mentor call Atiku, oh, my boss. So I think this kind of behavior from them, irresponsible behavior from them, they deserve some response sometimes that should put a permanent stop to it. Look, Kwankwaso have a base, whether you like it or not. He have a base that he must show confidence to that base that he's their leader and is ready to stand up for them against all kind of nonsense coming from opposition. And this is what he did today. He responded well by comparing his own educational qualification against that to be, his political experience against that to be, the offices he has held, elective offices, appointment, ambassador, against that to be. And he was able to just rubbish that to be before the whole, before the international community, that this guy is not a match to me. I'm better than him in all ways. Why are these people calling on me to step down for him? He have a base that he has to fire up, and he did well. And I believe all Kwankwaso across the country today will be so impressed by that singular action that he took there. That response was the most excellent response in all that he did over there. Whether you like it or not, it is politics they are playing. Whether it's in the international community, they went there to deliver speech to show to international community how they are better than the other candidate. And he expressed it clearly there that this guy asking me to step down for Obi, I'm better than him in all ramifications you want to look at it. And even in the area of education that you guys are talking that Obi did, he give them a computer, he brought them from number one to this thing. How many scholarships did he give to an embryo to go and study in abroad compared to that of what Kwankwaso did? Kwankwaso was beating his chest in that hall today and said, there are some of my people that enjoy our scholarship today. Some of them were greeting me outside as I was coming. If you are here, if you are one of those that enjoy our scholarship when I was governor, some of them raised their hand. What are you guys talking about? It's politics. It's plain politics. And he delivered it well to silence the obedient that stop calling on me to step down for your mentor that is not much to me. And so who brought this shame on obedient on international stage? It's you, the obedient, one of you that acted stupid at the international stage. So people can say that it were too excessive. Yes, some people will look at it like that. Yeah, it went too excessive. But this guy, I want you to know, he's playing politics and he has a base, he has to fire up, and he has a mission to accomplish. And all this build up on him for several months that he should step down. The window of opportunity open for him today to put a stop to it, and he deliver it. He said, stop it. I will not take this nonsense from you guys. Do not call on me, to ever stop for this guy. You have been saying it in Nigeria. I have said I'm not stepping down. You are bringing it to international stage. Stop this nonsense. That is what he did. So this guy did very well. He delivered a very fantastic speech, and he answered all the questions clearly to the understanding of everybody listening. And if I have to rate him one man, I'm giving him 9/10. I'll be 90%. If not
But,
for
but
the
was there sufficient enough substance in anything that he had to say? Because a lot of his response was somewhat evasive, like we've seen all the way through all these Chatham House interactions. I said he was going to build 500,000 classrooms in 4 years, and how he's going to do that, he said he was going to mop up resources, something that has no meaning. He says his legacy is going to be united the country, but then he also went to say that to me, it is like we're living in two countries. They don't know what we're doing in the north, and they don't. So he was saying that all of his credentials essentially in the north, and that is where his quantity is. So how can it be that unifying force? If he's by his own admission, the country is at its two ways and it's one of the divide. So he said, and then he went on to he did the OB space, and then he says and then to the politics, he says that they are afraid of him because he controls Kano. So yes. But was there enough substance in anything that he has to say that has any meaning?
Yeah, there's substance in it. He said he's going to build 500,000 classrooms. Is that what he said? You said, one man? Did he say it's going to build 500?
No, classrooms, not schools or classrooms. Yeah.
500. Well, I don't know. Maybe he misspoke there. Classroom or school. Maybe he was trying to say schools, and he just misspoke. But I don't want to defend him. But I think it first shot.
No, saying classrooms are fine because, of course, the classrooms that's to say either expanding facilities in existing rooms, building other schools essentially, but units of classrooms 500,000. So I think I think that's a right thing to say.
Well, let's agree that it's the right thing to say. Do we have the financial capacity to do that? Yes, we have it. You can hear him. He said it. He said, forget about all the nonsense they are talking that there is no money in Nigeria. He said, we have the money, we have the resources, and we have the people to make Nigerian great, to do good things for Nigerian people and for Nigerians to live well in their country. And which other and on his legacy, that he wants to unite Nigeria. What he said that from both sides of Nigeria, from the south and the east, is absolutely truth. A lot of us from the south doesn't understand, doesn't know the northern well. We don't know the way they think. We don't know them well. And a lot of them as well doesn't know how, they don't know knows us well as well. So as a leader, according to him, he will do all within his capacity, to unite the people. And to unite the people is in the hand of leadership. So the leadership, starting from him, and the team that is going to put together will demonstrate or lead us to uniting the people. If it's able to have a balance, leadership across board at all, all governmental position at that federal level, that will give every Nigerian sense of belonging. That is one of the way to unite the people. If it's able to deliver on what is it promised Nigerian people in the areas of education, health, security, and in other areas that it promising that it's going to deliver for Nigerian people. If it's able to achieve that, it can unite Nigerian people. There are so many ways that it can do to unite Nigerian people. So we are talking of Obasanjo today as the best of the best among them. The people that have governed, have been the president of that country since 1999. Because why? Obasanjo ran a government of unity. He had people in his cabinet, not only from PDP, but from other parties. Bola Ige was not from PDP. It was from Afenifere. He gave him a cabinet meeting. Cabinet most strongest position in the super minister. He made him the super minister. And we have some other people from other party as well, AMPP and others that he gave appointment. And he governed the way he distributed the governmental position. It was balanced. And there was the problem we are confronting today in terms of Fulanization that Buhari perpetrated. Obasanjo did not do it. So he was able to unite people. Even the Igbos love Obasanjo even than the Yorubas. But because of the way he was able to give them sense of belonging in terms of appointment that he gave them, it did not, at any time discriminate against them or any part of the country. So if Kwankwaso could do something like that, so he could leave that is the legacy. Legacy of unity was what Obasanjo left behind. So Kwankwaso that served under Tinubu, under Obasanjo, maybe he would like to repeat such such effort, because he learned that from Obasanjo. So maybe that is what is referring to, that is going to he will implement as well to bring unity among Nigerian people. So thinking that maybe it's not possible. For him to say that is the legacy, I think that is the most important thing that is required of leadership in that country. We need peace. We are more divided than ever before in that country now. So if he could achieve that, it will leave a very strong legacy behind, which anybody after him, if they can continue, we can start building a nation. So to me, I think one man, he did very well. Yeah, there are some shortcomings. There are some areas that, he couldn't. The only way I can fault him was that the way he responded to that guy, which I like, but at the same time, he should have toned it down a little bit. But when you have a situation, you know, when you have a situation where some people continuously calling on you to do what you are not expected to do, and then they brought it to a point where you can't take it anymore. You can outburst in such a way that can be irritating sometimes. So it could maybe it went too hard on that guy. But I think to Kwankwaso all over Nigeria, they will not see it like that. Others might see that Kwankwaso will be fired up by that response, and they will see him as a leader that can stand up for them and stop nonsense from coming from Obedient and some other opponent. So he did very well, and I really commend him for his performance today. I did not expect him to perform well the way he answered. He answered clearly and in the best way that everybody can understand his mission and what he intends to do to for Nigerian people. So one man, I think he is the best among the three that I've visited the Chatham House. I give him 90%. The performance, 90%.
All right. Thank you, Ajan Lekoko. So that's high praise. Ajan Lekoko usually stingy with his marking. So to get 90%, that's excellence indeed. But how highly would Mr. Ed rate the performance of Kwankwaso? You're up next, Mr. Ed. So conversations have been wrapping around what we just saw, but how did you see it? Kwankwaso, Chatham House, Mr. Ed.
I think for me it was a disappointment, to be honest with you, because I think you have to look at, what is the takeaway, right? I mean, I'm not so concerned about what he said about, about politics or whatever. I think what they were there to do is to expand on their ideas for how they want to help the country or how they want to rescue the country. I don't think I remember anything he said that he would do. Things like building classrooms. That sounds a little bit not. I don't know, but I mean, look. For me, it was more focused on I would build classroom. Classroom doesn't get you human capital development, right? People can go to school, but the question is, how do you put knowledge in people's head, mind? You don't need a lot of buildings to do that, nowadays, right? So, the proposals and the solutions that he has, I don't know. I just didn't. I don't remember anything, from it. And the passion also when they talk about. Look, if I look at OB yesterday, for example, there was a certain level of passion and seriousness about the way he was answering the questions. You know what I mean? I could remember things talking about, hey, I would declare war on power. I will, you know what I mean? I want, Nigerians to have, to be proud of their green passport. He was proposing, he had stuff about really clear timelines and milestones about, power generation, how many megawatts or whatever. I didn't hear any real policy discussions, in this presentation. It was, look, for me, I think the one that people remember the most is this fracas about this stupid question that somebody asked. I think as a statement, when you answer questions like that, it could have just simply knocked that question over easily. That just shows me that it's not quick on his feet. Because you are in an international arena stage, right? And the country's already.
Did you not hear echoes of pent up frustration that has been building up over time in his response?
Why would the frustration be building up? Based on what?
Because I think it's constantly being prodded by that sort of that question. That's
by who?
No, just over the course of this campaign.
Yeah, of course.
People have been saying to him, will you subordinate yourself to Peter Obi? Why don't you subordinate yourself to Peter Obi? Why don't you join Peter Obi and all of that? So I think that's now culminated in that guy asking that question, and he just let rip that, look at my credentials and look at the person. So did you not see? I don't think it was essentially that guy, but I think that was the tipping point. That's what I thought.
No. So that shows me already that he has he has a divisive tendency in his mind. Then for me, you know what I mean? Because that's not for me. It's not a big deal. He could have just answered the question by saying things like, you know what? No, Obi should probably step down for me because I have more experience. If he had said that, see nothing wrong with that. But I just didn't like the fact that he's bringing ethnicity. Look, there's already division in that country. All you need right now is to be portraying that unity. Because if you're like in the UK, for example, nobody cares if you're Igbo, Yoruba, whatever. You're a Nigerian. A Nigerian stood up, asked him a stupid question. He should address it, the Nigerian, and address this question, not bringing like, yeah, you are Igbo and this and that and secessionists and, I mean, those are all divisive, is you Igbo, you this, what is that all about, So that for me was like definitely a complete turn off. Because I think you were there, you want to address like Nigerians. It doesn't matter, not every Nigerian, you have the good, you have the bad, you have everything. You're going to be president of everybody. That's what, killed this whole administration of Buhari, is all this idea that, you don't treat people as people, you don't just go into like, I'm saying, a ethnic tribe, like you people, you ask this type of question. No, okay, maybe it's an Igbo person, but, I mean, Obi didn't ask you that, so I don't know why, like, politicians or statesmen or whatever who are running for offices are fighting with like people online or people who ask questions or whatever, these are people who are not significant people, who cares about that guy? Nobody knows that guy's name. Nobody know who he is. Why take it so personal, and start going to a diatribe? For me, I thought that was, I mean, I have respect for him, but I thought it was going to be more of like, hey, you know what? Let me discuss my plan for the country. And, I don't know. I don't, maybe somebody else knows exactly. They can have, I mean, Angelica gave him, I guess, a 90%. Maybe he remembers exactly what the policy what he wants to do for the country is, maybe he just like, the whole feisty fight, and all that stuff, I mean, if that's your thing, so that's your thing, but I think what Nigeria needs is just.
How would you grade the performance? Adanle Koko gave him 90, as you said, but what would you give him?
I would give him a 5. I think, because
out of 100.
Out of 100, yes, I'll give him a 5. I mean, I give him a 5 for the reason that he would have, I think politicians, you answer the questions, you don't answer the question that you're given, you answer the question that you're giving, but you also have to, like, let's say
you're giving 5%.
I said 50, 5 over 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a 5 for me, because I say 5 over 10, not from the terms of, hey, a performance that he stand and answer question. Anybody can stand and answer anything. The question is, what is your purpose? What is your objective there? Did he gain any new followers? Did he gain any? Is it are they gonna be on papers tomorrow writing like, oh wow, Kwankwaso, did a? If you look at I'm saying what the papers are writing about Obi's performance, a lot of positive reviews. Not because they are obedience, because he talked about true policies. He stood there, he took questions, and he doesn't. People ask him, "Oh, IPOB or this and that." Why are people asking, Obi about IPOB? Is he the only one that from an ethnic group that has, people who are agitating? How come people are not asking Tinubu about Yoruba Nation? How come Kwankwaso is not taking responsibility for the bandits and whatever is going on in the north, or Atiku? So when these things happen, Obi could also get mad and say, "Hey, you know what? Say, look, I'm a Nigerian. I'm not the president. I'm not in the government. How come people are putting, IPOB, on me? And why not on the other people?" But he stood there. He took the question as a professional person. He didn't get irritated. So, okay, great. He stated his point. But what's the point? That was a Yoruba person that probably asked the question, maybe from a different camp. But you don't want to attack the people for asking a question. They come out there with different agenda. Maybe opposition, they come out there to set you up or whatever, but you don't start going out there and start going into like, a diatribe, about like, yeah, you are this, you are that. I mean, come on, that for me, that was a complete turnoff. I think if you're looking to lead the country like that, what should you be focused on is, hey, how do you unite the people? How do you make people think they are Nigerian first? And not like, yeah, I'm Igbo, I'm Yoruba, everybody's taking like that, sticking to their tribe and trying to defend, whatever. Who cares? I mean, is that putting food on the table right now for people? There's 133 million people out of in multidimensional poverty. We're not discussing about yes, he got him really good. How's that gonna help anybody? So for me, it's a very simple. I think when we have these conversations, let's have conversations about like the not just style but substance. What is the substance of what they're talking about? Do you disagree with the policy that they're recommending? Then state that.
and say I don't agree with this policy, but just to go like, yeah, but you know, yeah, you gave it to him really good, you know. Okay, anyways, you know, but that's my feeling about it. Anyways, I was a little bit disappointed. I thought he could have, because he's a show, you know, he's there to present himself, you know. So I mean, picking a fight with somebody else or whatever, it doesn't help him. He had to put himself in a good light, you know. I mean, you know, it's. But anyways, you know, I just think it was a little bit. I enjoy Obi. I enjoyed the Ane guy. I thought Tinubu, you know, was also, you know, okay. I mean, I think the questions, the way they answered the question was a little bit basic, maybe not straight from their manifesto directly or whatever. They didn't expand on that. But yeah, I didn't really hear anything here that I felt like, you know what? Yes, he spent a lot of time talking about policy. You know, for me, I also what think, if I say you are listening to him?
I'm not. Stop that. Stop that. You know.
So that's why you
What?
can say you didn't listen.
Sorry?
You didn't see anything.
I didn't see
You
what?
can't grab anything from what the speech he delivered and
But I'm asking
everything he said.
you. No. So that's what I'm asking you. Maybe if you know, since you gave it a 90, what did you remember in the speech that make you give it a 90? What is the substance that you say, wow, you know what? What you remember in terms of, like, you know, policy direction.
You need to go and rewatch that video. Maybe.
But you say it now. You can tell
I
me.
don't need
Now.
to
I mean,
tell
you
you.
watch it, right? I didn't hear anything. But did you hear something? See, I didn't hear anything. You tell me what you heard. You gave it a 90, right? Based on what?
If we didn't hear anything, we won't be discussing. We won't be saying everything we've been saying since. We won't be here. And I believe that we are on this platform in order to, you know, discuss among ourselves what we had and things like that. So if you are listening with prejudice, obviously you will not listen. You won't hear anything.
Yeah, but that's the accusation you are having, right? Look,
more importantly, you are obedient. So I won't expect you
see,
to
this
hear
is the trouble with this with people, like, you know. I mean, you just talk. You cannot just make assertions. You are obedient. You are this. You are that. Have a normal conversation. Why do you accuse people of things? You know, how do you know I'm obedient? I'm an objective person. I'm only. They ask me a question about, you know.
All right.
What is I don't.
No, sorry, I stepped away from my computer for a moment. I hope you guys are not falling out.
You are not.
No,
the
there's
first
no
time.
but
This is not your first
think,
time coming here,
look,
championing Obi now. So what are you talking?
What about champion of beef?
I don't know why
What is
people
look,
try to
let's
hide
slow down. Let's slow
All
down.
right. All right.
Let me wrap up.
Hold on, Mr. Ed. I stepped away from my computer, like I said, but just from what you're talking about, your politics is your prerogative, of course, and your opinion is still yours as well. So you're entitled to both as well. But let me move you back to the Kwankwaso space. And in terms of what you just saw, I probably know the answer to this already, but is Kwankwaso's chances, has it been enhanced? Does it remain the same, or has it diminished off the back of this performance? So has this performance enhanced his chances, diminished it, or has it just remained the same? So give us that, Mr. Ed, and then we hear from Mano Prestige.
So from my, so I can speak to my opinion, of course, because I don't know how it affects other people, of course, you know. So I would say probably not, you know, maybe neutral, you know, at his best, and at his worst, you know, he's probably going to turn some more people off that may have sympathy for him, you know, because I think there are a lot of people that I would probably think it took a little bit. I don't know if it took vote from him, but I think it would take a little bit of, like, you know, some let's say respect away from him, you know. Definitely for people maybe who were looking at him and thinking, oh, okay, this guy, you know, he may be somebody that can govern the country, but you know, the fact that he's going, you know, like deep in his you know, his whole swimming in a pool of ethnicity, that for me is a big turnoff, you know, especially in the war state. But this wasn't the first time, because indeed, like somebody said, you know, when they were having this conversation in the past, he did mention, like, yeah, you know, did not vote for Igbo, this and that, you know. But now being on the world stage, you know, going
Was
straight,
it the one
you know,
that said that, or was it Atiku? I'm not.
Yeah, no, it was him. It was him.
Atiku? Was it
yeah,
not
it
Atiku?
was no, it was also him. It was also him. Yeah, he also said that in the interviews. But anyways, but it's just that. Look, it's more the line of thinking. I think, I think so that's how you see divergent views. You know, like was he Alexander Gomez? You know. He also has it, because if you look, because I'm not, nobody, Alexander Gomez is not like obedient, you know, person or whatever, you know. If you have to listen with objective ears, you know. This is you want, like, in a war stage here. This is not transactional stuff, you know. We're talking about, like, you know,
a country of 200 million people. You cannot see people like just like, if somebody asks you a question, you start to say, oh yeah, you are Igbo, you are, what I mean? Come on. So it's an outside guy asking, Obi about something, so he has to say, oh, because you're outside, come on, guys. That's the point I'm making. So to go back to your question, I don't know if he's gonna get more vote from this. I don't think so. Probably, maybe maybe people who love him already will love him. Still people who's not. I don't think people hate him per se. But I would think maybe he will lose some respect for people who otherwise may have been looking at him, or maybe looking at saying, okay, well, I voted for somebody else, but then I don't know, but I don't think it was let's say a really great performance on the world stage. To be honest with you, but you will find out tomorrow what.
Yes, do you think he has been exposed on the biggest stage possible? Is that what you think happened?
Yes, I would not exposed. I would say he exposed himself. Because he would, like I said again, so that was an easy question to like swat away, because it's a nonsense question. If you think it's a stupid question, why answer this? You answer like in a very, you swat it out. You say, no, I think you got it wrong, young man. I think, I'm the more, experienced one here. So I think he should, what we talk about working together, yes, we can work together, but he should be, it should be stepping down for me. That can create a little bit of laughter or whatever. So you swat it, that's done. So what is the whole point about bringing the Igbo tribe or whatever? Igbo tribe has nothing to do with it. It was just a one person.
He never said anything about Igbo tribe.
He said he's a Igbo.
Did he say that? I didn't hear it.
He said no. Did he say that?
He didn't say that.
No. He said from the question he could tell that the guy was from that region,
from South,
yes.
Exactly.
From one side of the country.
From one side of the country.
From one side of the country.
What has that got to
say
do
Igbo?
with? Yeah, but he did say was southeast or whatever. You know what I'm saying? What is that? I mean, from that, what does that mean? You know what he's talking about, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, he didn't mention Igbo.
I know, but okay. I can also say, you can say southeast. You can say those people, or Biafra or whatever. I don't know, but but I mean, the point I'm making. I think we don't need more divisions. That's the problem that I have with all this. The country needs to be able to move forward. You need unity. That's it. I know you can use it in your politics or whatever, but don't make it too, because that can divide, people. People can start to go into their corner. So he goes. I think he goes there. If I'm not mistaken, he did say like in the Labour Party is like they are like ethnic party and religious party. I mean, so it's Nnpp is like is the party of the whole country, and then other it's no.
If anything, Nnpp is actually more of an ethnic.
For ethnic, exactly. But okay, you know what I mean. Why go there? It's not necessary. You know what I mean. So because we're all Nigerians, right? So what is the? I mean, you're only London. London doesn't care about how outside Igbo. You're Nigerian. You're Nigerian. They treat you all the same. So why go there and start making divisions about which one is Nigeria?
So all in all, you are disappointed.
No, I mean for that, I think for that, I think they should stay away from all this. At least using this thing to really divide. Like you can use it. You can use it as a strategy, but don't come out in like in that obvious attacking way like that. I think I don't think that is. I mean, for our leader, if we are because we are professionals here, right? So. You want somebody to be on stage to make you proud, and that's Nigeria. I mean, that doesn't make me proud, to have those cleavages, exposed in international stage. Those are things that you don't bring your dirty laundry, I'm saying, to the, into the public. I mean, if you're gonna fight, fight in your home, but don't come to like the world stage, and start to abuse your other, you know what I mean? That for me that just shows that, say he doesn't have like no. Probably like a good touch of diplomatic, skills. Because you could have answered that in like a very diplomatic way, you know what I mean, by not trying to offend anybody, but still get your point across, so yeah, that's where I rest the case.
All right, brilliant. So if you're free tomorrow, Mr. Ed, around about 9:45 p.m., join us. We shall be because we've gone to pains to prepare a spreadsheet on how we feel the elections will go. So that's going to we're going to premiere it 9:45 UK time tomorrow. So so
tomorrow is not Friday. Is it not Friday?
No, is it not Friday? So tomorrow is
No,
not Friday.
No, tomorrow is Thursday.
No, I do beg your pardon. We'll be premiering it on Friday.
You are leaving a day ahead, one man. I don't know
no,
why.
no,
are you in a hurry?
Not that I can afford to lose any day, but
No,
there
no,
it
but
is.
I think you're in a
On
hurry to get to
Friday.
the election day quickly, and so to have
Yeah.
all this over.
You know, I wonder what I'm already starting to think, what are we going to be talking about post the election? So I want to start to, that's why I want to bring back the afternoon session to start to build a narrative outside of politics, because where is the conversation? If we are not saying Buhari is this, Tinubu is that, what else is there to talk about? But
No, but what I think it would be good for you to talk about, I maybe to put on the agenda and for the group is also like the whole INEC, the whole BVAS, whatever, how it actually works. Because there was like some interviews about some ICT guys. I think there's a lot of misconception on this space about what INEC, what the BVAS stuff is already. So it might be good to explore that, and really get more good information about exactly what is this beaver thing, how does it really work, what are the technical like advancement in there, and what are the let's say what are the mitigations against the rigging or whatever that they talk about, so because I hear people say things over here that are completely false, but but then it's hard to challenge.
yes, that area is still quite vague for the importance that it has.
Yeah,
Nobody
exactly.
really
It
has
has so much importance,
Yeah.
So, but because people just assume like, it was gonna be like, always was. But things are still moving along, So of course the politicians are also looking for, because I think when people say sometimes like, INEC and this and that, you have to realize, man, like you said, somebody said it yesterday. It's about 96 million, about 90 something million people that they're organizing an election for. That's more than 14 countries in West Africa as a whole. So to say that the INEC boss is in bed, with the politicians or whatever, so for me, I think that's a little bit too, like too lazy. You know what I mean? Because of course, these things can happen in different places, not necessarily INEC chairman or whatever. INEC chairman could be a very straightforward guy, but maybe somebody, working in Jigawa, as an agent somewhere, colluding with somebody. How would INEC, so we should be talking more about, okay, not about one person. What are the ways, to rig the election, and what, are the, what do we see from the INEC process that mitigate those, and do we see are there other loopholes the politicians can use, to game the system? Those are more interesting stuff to talk about as well, instead of just going back and forth. Yeah, this will win, that will win. Who knows? Nobody really knows. Permutations or whatever. Who cares? But anyways, but it's fun. But I would think those kind of things. I think people who are watching will have more. Let's say get more
of an
information, valuable
education.
information. Yeah, exactly. More education from that instead of like the back and forth about Igbo, Yoruba, Tinubu is better. We only have one vote or no vote. So what we're trying to do is educate. And put things on the table, discuss it, put the facts out there. As fast, you know what I mean, and corroborating the facts, and then people will have to judge, and make their own decisions, based on what they see and how they want to vote, and we'll see what the outcome is. So I would yeah. Okay. And second thing you can also do, maybe when things are over, this is something I'm working on, is some business opportunities in Nigeria, because I'm seeing a lot of stuff.
We've been trying to incorporate that into the conversation, but the
Yeah,
space is not yet yielding to that.
No.
In fact, I
After
was
the
going to
election, it
bring
might be
somebody
more.
on to come and talk us through how to deal stocks and whatnot. But
Yeah. No, indeed, there's a lot of because I'm seeing a lot of things going on in that country that people are not aware of. But I think it's just too bad that maybe the Buhari administration, they don't know how to sell what they are doing. Maybe because they're not. Maybe Buhari himself is not a talker. So maybe that's why. But I think from a federal level, they've really done a lot of stuff. But most of the problems are more in the states and local government areas. I think the federal is really. They've. If I look at what they're putting in place out there, I'll show you separately because I'm building a business around that. And there's some really exciting things going on in that country, seriously, but which is not in the surface, but that would be a good time to also start talking about, hey, what is going on, are there opportunities, and what can you do.
Mr. Ed, are you speaking from Nigeria? Are you speaking from Nigeria?
No, I'm speaking from abroad, from the Netherlands.
Oh, Netherlands. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you Igbo? Sorry.
No, I'm not Igbo. I'm from Benin. Edo.
Oh, Obiadoke.
Yeah, Obiadoke. Koyo.
Domo.
Yeah.
Domo. Okay,
Where
I
are
was
you
saying
from anyway?
How come all Edo people always push up their voice when they get abroad? You would think it was Prince Charles that we are talking to, not Edward from Edo. What's going
No,
on
man.
here?
Yeah, I've
When did
been.
you turn into Prince Charles that you are talking all this hoity-toity stuff?
This is how I talk, oh, one man.
Yeah.
I'm in Japan.
You're in Japan. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah, nice.
Domo.
Yeah, Domo.
Take off do okay.
You mean the city, or I think it's just
Yeah,
Benin
yeah.
City, anyways. Benin City. Yeah.
Take off the city.
Textile Road, around the
Oh,
Textile
okay.
Road, you know, that area.
Okay.
Ugbo, yeah, that
Okay.
area. My father actually has a house in Ugbo, but we grew up more in Lagos, you know.
Okay. All right.
I actually left a long time ago though, but it's really nice to have, you know. I think that's why I asked Uptown also his contact. You know, I want to make some contact with people in this space, you know, and develop some relationship and do some business if it's possible. Because I think there's a lot of look, one thing that I found out, you know,
any business done off this platform, the house gets 10%.
But that's why I'm, of course. But you have to put a platform in place,
World Peace and Enigmatic. They're transacting
the betting.
a $6 million deal, and they're what's going on, eh?
So what I see is like in this space, looks like a lot of people have money in this place, you know, to invest, you know. So instead of betting, let's do some investment in Nigeria, you know, to make some money, right?
Yes.
And also help the people out
I'm
there.
going to bring a property guy on as well, to speak to the Lagos property space.
Yeah.
I brought one on to speak to the Abuja space.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring one on to speak to the Lagos property space, you know.
Yeah.
All of those things, you know. Yeah.
So one thing that's also happening as well is the crowd farming. You know, they are doing a lot of crowd farming now, which is. But anyways, let me leave that for another time, so I give other people space to talk, because I've been following the African space. So what is happening right now is that there's a lot of if you want to make money, you have to go solve problems. If you solve problems, you make money.
No, that's always been the case.
Exactly.
Now.
But where is the problem? Where the problems are?
Yeah.
The problems are in Africa, you know. So what you see now, that's what I see here. All the people are here. They are not trying to rush to Africa because, you know, they are trying, you know, because they know there's not a lot of problems to solve out here anymore. You know what I mean? Most of the problems are not in Africa, so that's where the money is also eat. You know, so the money is following, you know, with the problem. So that's why I said Nigeria has a big problem, you know, which is a big opportunity also for all of us. You know, so we have to take advantage.
And the one
of
thing that Kwankwaso said that struck me, there's a vast, huge gold reserves in the north, and all of this banditry that we're seeing is just a camouflage to scare people from that space. And it told us that they are on a daily basis bringing in helicopters to the gold in Zamfara in the north is probably up to the oil in this thing. So
that is the structure.
He also said one thing. He said Nigeria has plenty of money. He said that, you know, and he should know. He should know. If anybody should know, he should know.
See, that is the structure that they're talking about. That's the structure. Look, if you go, I think I sent you a video of Buhari. You know, Buhari gave up already some time ago. You know, because he tried to fight corruption. Because I don't think he himself is corrupt.
No, but Buhari is quite vacant now. You can see that he's gone.
He's gone. He checked out already.
He doesn't care. Don't come to me. Don't come near my door. Just stay away from me. Just stay, Baba. Go and do whatever. Just release me, let me go. You know, say Baba wants to go home.
He wants to go home. I think he was done a year ago. The problem is too much.
No, I think it was done 4 years ago. He was happy to let it go 4 years ago, but
he was done.
The atrocity people, they held him. So, I think Buhari has been a hostage to his administration.
Yeah.
You know.
So see what happened, because if you watch, because I've been watching like some of his interviews or whatever. So what he said one thing one time, like, you know, which was very, for me, maybe it's good to play that video for everyone. So he was telling, like, I think it was a new cadet or whatever, you know, that graduated, you know, in the military school or whatever, you know. So he said, you know, that they transfer money to the state government for development, you know, for your states or whatever you say. But what the state government is basically doing, you know, so the state government would take, like, you know what I mean, maybe they send like 100 million. This is something that he said live TV, corruption that he witnessed himself. He said they gave like 100 million to a governor
the governor was supposed to give the 100 million to the local government for development, for example. Governor tell the local government chairman, hey, you sign that you receive 100 million, but I'll only give you 50 million. He gives the local government 50 million, a chairman. Local government chairman take the 50 million, he shares it around his people, and the rest he put in his pocket. No development, nothing. He said, that's Nigeria for you. And the people who are doing this are very, very educated, everything top class, whatever, saying. He says, so it comes down to a question of character. That's what it comes down to. He said, that's Nigeria for you. So Nigeria, he said, God help us. When he said God help us, I said, this guy already checked out.
Yeah, Yemi Oshibanjo was saying something just yesterday. He was talking about ethical revolution, which is to say that you cannot fight corruption unless there is a mind shift from that space
exactly
to a more patriot. How many of them can you? Do you want to go and fight Buhari, Malami, Kwankwaso himself, Tinubu, Atiku?
So
these are the corruption in Nigeria,
yeah,
and
but let me tell you what it was. People don't listen to Peter Obi when he speaks. So when you pay attention to him, this is what he said. You know what I mean? I will go and govern in the states. What is he saying? They have the app now. What they're saying. Also, I think they also launched the app. The Buhari government actually, to say every project that is going on. You know what I mean? That they put money into or whatever. They will make it public. Like, hey, this money we give to this governor. They will also publish it to say, this governor, you're supposed to be a road, So citizen, your governor received this money, you go hold your governor responsible. So if there's building a certain road, for example, budgeted for, people can actually see the road, take a picture of it, take a video of it, what the progress is, and upload it into a site so that the government can actually have a feedback loop, which is missing this government. That was the problem with this government, because they like all this, Anchor Farmer program. They put a lot of money into it, but they don't get no feedback. They don't follow up to say, okay, well, we put 10 million to this, gave 10 million to this farmer. Hey, let's go see after 4 weeks, what is the farmer doing? After 6 months or whatever. No, they just put the money, they embezzle the money. Nobody asks anymore, who's this farmer? Where's the farm? Nothing, no follow-up, nothing at all. So that has to change. If you change that, I think the corruption will be less, because then you have eyes on the projects, whatever, all this stuff that they just budget, nobody knows where it's
Mr.
going.
Eder,
That's the problem.
I believe the corruption in Nigeria is coming to a point that people will fight back against the corruption. It might not be next government, but in the next 10 years, I believe there will be grammatical shift of fighting this corruption.
Yeah.
I believe so, because it's getting to that point. It has got to the point that is
critical point now. Yeah.
It's
hitting the country.
It's getting the country. The only thing they have to do is to fight back.
It's to fight back.
And
it's not sustainable. Even that's why I say, like, even people like Obi or whatever, at least you can say Obi is this or that, or at least what he's saying makes sense. You know what I mean? Whether he would do it or whatever, that's a debate or whatever for all of them or whatever. People can that's a trust or whatever that you have. But you have to watch. You have to talk about how do you address this. It's not just one person. It's everybody. That's what he's saying. It's you. It's me. It's everyone. You know what I mean? If a police guy, asking for a bribe or whatever, there should be a way for you to report that policeman. You should take his number or whatever. There's cameras now, so we have to use technology to because nobody's facing the chairman. How can they? That's what they call structure. That's the structure that they're talking about when they talk about structures. Because the local government guy has his own people, that they are using for. So they settle those people. Your road is not getting built. Your water treatment is not done. Nothing is done in your area because they are settling the politicians, the structures or whatever. And those structures have to go away because this money is made for development, not to pay off the boys of the local government or boys of the governors or whatever. Because the corruption is not in the federal level. It's in the federal level. At least they are still doing so. They're stealing, but they still do something. But the states, many of the states, they just go there, collect money, saying yafu yafu, and then they clean their mouths, and then they look at their citizens, and at the end of every 4 years they go back to it. So people say here, oh yeah, the governor, it's the state. So when people were dying in the governor state, and what was the governor doing? He didn't go help his people. Now it's time to go vote. Now he's gonna go. So those people are gonna listen to him. So I just look at people and laugh and say, okay, so we just think that people are robots, they don't just have no sense. No, even people don't go to school or whatever, they still have sense, So if you don't live this life, you know what I'm saying, we cannot just talk, you know, and like, oh yes, this will happen, that will happen. Because you're not there. You don't know how it feels like. You haven't been there. There are people who haven't been able to go to their village to bury their loved ones. There are people like that. So those people are gonna just stand and say, oh yeah, governor, hey, great work, you know, we're just gonna vote for you. A lot of things are gonna happen because the events that happened in the last 4 years, all the events that happened in the last 4 years is enough at least to change some minds, you know. Maybe not every mind, but so the permutations have to take all these things into account. You don't know how people's minds are going to behave. I don't know what they're going to do. So we have to wait and see. So when all the permutations, you know, either way, again, it's just speculations, you know. Nobody really knows what people are going to do, whose mind, you know. I mean, you know, it's going to be changed. Who you know, so the North is not monolithic either. You have like, you know, about 200 tribes or maybe more in the North. They are not all Fulani and Hausa. You know, the Hausas and the Fulani are fighting each other, you know. So all these things is just, oh yeah, the North will vote for this person. You know, it doesn't work like that. You know, yeah, people have to vote their interest, you know. So, okay, we'll see for the first time. But I think, again, for me at least, you know, I don't, people say I don't care about obedience or whatever, you know. So I care about, you know, we have to scrutinize the candidates, listen to them, and people have to make their choices, you know. Whoever, you know, you're connected to, you can defend it, but if they do wrong, you know, so you should criticize them. I don't have a problem with that. But I just don't like politicians, you know, like using this ethnic cleavages and all that stuff, you know. So because, you know, they've played this card long enough, you know. So I think people should be wise not to perpetrate that, you know, for them, you know what I mean? You know, so so one man would like, you know, for you to tone down on those ethnic discussions here, because it doesn't help anything, you know.
No, I don't instigate it, but I think I think that is where the space is at the moment.
Yeah, but let him, but shut it down, because it's not helping anybody. You know what is, you know? I mean, what is the okay? So you know what I mean? So because there's more things to discuss about, you know. So I mean, you know, that's just maybe the policies and maybe your attitude or whatever is fine, but making in the Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa thing, you know. So for me, I think it's nonsense. You know, I mean, you're Nigerian, you're Nigerian.
Well, all right, brilliant. If you're Nigerian, you are a Nigerian. So thank you, Mr. Ed. Let's go on from Mr. Ed to Man of Prestige. So Man of Prestige, thank you for joining us. Your response to the Kwankwaso appearance.
Yeah, good morning, one man. It's too early over here, and good afternoon. What time is it right now? About 7 something. But anyway, good afternoon, good evening in London, wherever you are. Yeah, thank you very much for allowing me to wake up. I didn't watch his speech earlier, but I was able to watch some of the questions because it's a little bit earlier here. So I just woke up. Having said that, I'm going to start my with Ajali Koko. I have a beef with Ajali Koko, so I hope he's there ready to, you know, hear what I'm saying. When he came to this platform and said that Saki Fada and Playtown is the only rational obedience, I feel offended to that. Why would you make such a comment and you call other people stupid or other obedience stupid? I'm one of the obedience. So when you refer whatever word you use, I don't recollect. You are referring to me too. So I beg to differ about what you said. I took an offense to that. I'm just try to let you know. You shouldn't be making that kind of statement.
They use the word stupid.
You use something. You use some nonsense or gibberish word to describe other obedience.
I said they've not been marketing. I said they've not been marketing him well.
Why are they the only rational people? Other obedience are stupid, like you claim.
I did. Come on, why are you accusing me of what I didn't say?
Get on.
I didn't say the word stupid that you are mentioning. What I said,
I don't know. You use a word which I find to be
I said they've not been marketing him well. That they will have, if they have adopted the way Zaki Fada and what do you call Playtown, the way they market to people.
Everybody can't be like Saki Fada. He talk very cerebral. I'm not going to be Saki Fada. I'm not going to be Playtown. I'm going to be Man of Prestige. All the obedience going to be what they are. But it can't be making a general statement.
Well, what do you mean by general statement? I didn't make any derogatory statement about you guys. I just said that
I find it to be derogatory in my opinion.
That is to you.
But anyway, I just want to let you know about that. As much as I find
didn't make any derogatory. Don't accuse me. Hold on. Don't accuse me of what I did not say. I didn't
What
make
word
any
did you use?
derogatory statement.
You
What
call us
I
stupid or
said,
something like that?
I did not say that. You are listening with prejudice. That is the
I'm not
problem
listening
with
with I'm just telling you how I
some
see
of
it.
you. Anytime that somebody says something against Obi,
There you go
want to
again,
pick
using
it
that
up
word, some of
wrongly.
you.
Oh, yes, that is true. You want to go after that person instead of going.
Yeah, I'm coming after you.
Going after the real issue. You will not go. You will not go on the issue. You want to go after that person. You will not listen well. What I said is that those guys market will be very well, and I wish others could adopt the same way
But
that
you
they've
can't
been
tell
doing.
others how
That is what I
to
said.
all right.
adopt or how to speak.
Sorry, man
I
of
don't know what
prestige.
offense.
Let's
What kind
move
of
away
offense
from
you
there
picking up
because
on that? What kind of offense you picking up on that? Just because I'm acknowledging them that I like their style, I like the way the market to be. So if you don't fall into that trap, if you don't fall into that, what is your why are you taking offense? I didn't make
I'm just
derogatory
letting you know I
statement.
took offense. Let's move on. Just try to let you
Okay,
know.
I'm including you. Okay, as well, like
That's
you.
fine. You know, I
Okay.
mean,
So you're happy now?
you're objective in your own point. I'm not saying you're not
Okay.
an objective.
So,
I mean,
so
I
you're
always
happy
regard
now?
you as the most
Okay.
objective person, but that doesn't mean you're not wrong. You know, you can't be a perfect person. Nobody's perfect. But let's move on. I just want to vent that out.
All right.
And we move on.
Sorry, it must be a full moon somewhere. It must be a full moon somewhere. Over the last 3 days, people are just coming here, getting in their feelings. But apologies if you were offended. But to the Kwankwaso space, man of prestige.
All right. Let's go on. Thank you, one man. I appreciate it. No problem. We are all good. I tell you, understand that, But anyway, let's go on. Like I said, I didn't listen to the whole team, but I listened to the when the guy came on and asked a question. Having said that, some of the content, that he presented, from the question, was good, but on overall, he did not impress me. I'll be very honest. Maybe because of the way I feel already, he has already pivoted me to the wrong angle. I just find his whole, disposition to be so arrogant. I mean, contemptuous, smug, everything. I don't know every word to use there, disdain, the way he answered that guy. I don't know who that guy is, even at all he's from the Igbo. That's not the right way to respond. That kind of threw me off, on everything. I mean, we're talking about on international level. You come there and display such idiocy, from your own point of view. You have pretty much portrayed the kind of person you are there. So I lost respect for him. I don't care what he is. So I was offended, I mean, what he displayed there was so arrogant. That wasn't necessary. There's a more intelligent way to answer that guy. To begin with, that question is gibberish in my opinion. That's a nonsense. It doesn't even make any sense, that guy asking that question. But regardless, you don't go low when they go low, you go high. He should have answered the question in a better way. I mean, like Obi answered that question. Look at that guy that answered that's asked Obi about the IPOB question. I think his name is Kaderi or whatever. Actually, it has been discovered that guy is from APC. He's an APC guy, member. And he asked that kind of question. But look at the way Obi took the question. I'm not saying the question is right or wrong. It doesn't matter. I'm not even offended by the question. It's the right question to ask, on your own point of view. There's nothing wrong with the question here. The guy asked Obi yesterday. But look at the way Obi handled that question. So Kwankwaso should have been man enough, like he compared himself to be all this intelligent. He's not the only educated person we have. I mean, you have PhD. A lot of people had PhD. So what the heck is PhD? Yeah, he's intelligent, Just because you have a PhD, Obi had PhD, Obi only had bachelor, Tinubu only had bachelor degree. That doesn't mean that doesn't make you a better president. It's not going to make you a better president because you are more educated than them. No, that's not what can make you a president. It's what you're going to do. And you antecedent. Yeah, let's give him in a particular small space, like Obi was in Anambra, he was in Kano. Yeah, both of them has reasonable antecedent. But don't come here and be whittling elder people, making it some sectional like North and South, like you're better than the Southerners. Let me just, you're not going to be more, I'm not even going to go sectional like he went to the Southeast in that particular question. I mean, the people in that international space, they don't know who is from Southeast. All they know, the person that asked that question is from Nigeria. He's not from Southeast of Igbo. He didn't use the word Igbo, but he used the word Southeast. The people in the international play, I mean, you come to international place and playing that divisiveness. That doesn't make any sense. So anyway, let me not rant on his behavior today. I find his behavior on international place to be so arrogant. I mean, he's narcissistic to the highest level that I can see. I think he had been speaking the other day. But having said that, some of the content that he said, a little bit, yeah, I like some of the content, like the building of the classroom. Maybe he's referring to education or whatever. In his manifesto, it makes some sense. I like it, but just the display that he displayed out, that annoys me to the cure level. That's all I have to say on that. That's why I came in, because I just wake up. Okay.
All right, brilliant. Thank you, Man of Prestige. So good to have you, Man of Prestige.
Okay.
So let's go on from you, Man of Prestige, to Brownberry, who hopefully is still there. Brownberry, you're up next. Are you there, Brownberry?
I'm still here. I'm here.
Oh, all right, brilliant. So to the conversation, the presentation of Kwankwaso at Chatham House. So we've now had 3 people now appear at Tinubu Obi, now Kwankwaso. But what are you making of Kwankwaso's performance today? Your assessment.
I didn't really watch it much, but I think at the latter part of it that I maybe about 5 minutes before the end. I think he spoke well, like he's always been speaking. He spoke very well, and but I don't know about the substance. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, whatever the 3 of them that have been there, whatever they've come to say, is nothing new that they have always been saying to their crowd. Why they're wherever they've been to in Nigeria. I mean, I think the only issue that most of us have with is with the questions that came from the guy. I don't know. I think what the Labour Party should find out is if that guy, what was it called? Is it Okpara or whatever they called him? If he's I mean, if he was planted there to ask such question, or if he's just asking it stupidly, because that question was so. That question didn't make any sense. We know that some people have also asked Obi some stupid questions like that, not only at the Chatham House when he was there or Wednesday, in some of the if you look at the town hall meeting that he had with this lady, this Fulani lady, I can't really remember her name, where they were going from different schools to ask questions. It was live as well. You can also see the questions that was asked by some northern students, regarding Biafra and IPOB. And when you look at other candidates, even if I want to start from Buhari, why Buhari was campaigning 2015, I mean, there was Boko Haram. Nobody asked Buhari and said, oh, what are you going to do with Boko Haram? They are from the north, and if you also look at the vice presidential candidate of APC, his tribe are Boko Haram. Nobody's asking him, your tribes are the leading forces in Boko Haram. What are you going to do with them? I think those questions shouldn't be asked, but nobody have asked those questions. But it keeps coming when it comes to Peter Obi and say, oh, what are you going to do with this? What are you going to do with this? But I think those are stupid questions. And this guy coming to ask this question today is also a stupid question. And Kwankwaso didn't do any justice to it. He didn't act as a statesman, as he didn't answer it presidential as he should have. I think and that's just the only thing that really, if not for this controversy, I didn't see anything that he said, that would have even warrant any. I mean, because that's the only thing we are talking about right now. We are not even talking about what he said, regarding the classrooms that he said he wants to build.
You can talk about that. So in terms of because yes, like I said, he did speak outside of his pushback against the step aside. But it looks as though nobody heard anything beyond that. But was there anything else outside of the step aside that you heard that you were impressed or not by him?
Like I said, I came late, but when it comes to that 500,000 capacity. 500,000 rooms. I've heard that before. He has said that before, so I can pick that out. When he talked about the military, boosting the military might, he's always talked about that. I can also pick that up. I mean, nobody can. I think almost all the candidates want to increase the number of military, which is very, very important, because we have. Why they are increasing the number of military, they should also. I think most of them also want to increase numbers of police officers, because the military are supposed to be guiding our territory. They're not supposed to be fighting inside the country. But unfortunately, that's where we find ourselves. Where the military are everywhere. They are in your backyard in Ibadan. They are in your village. They are here. They are there. But what he said he wants to do, there's nothing wrong in everything that he came there to say. But I don't want to hit him and say, because if you also look at, when the guy was asking him that question, he wouldn't have just said, "Oh, will you step down?" Or he would have said, "Oh, how are you going to work with Peter Obi?" Because if you also look at the way both of the parties, what they are preaching, is really similar. Because if you say Kwankwaso is preaching to his people, like trying to label this current administration and the past leaders as criminals, and it's the same thing that the Labour is also doing. The Labour as well is also cutting the minorities, cutting the Southerners, and telling them that is our turn. It's also the same thing that Nnpp and Kwankwaso they are doing. They are telling their people, look, our people, they are cleaning our people. If you go to the south, our people are being killed. It's just they are just doing the same thing in a different way. So I guess that was why he was asking that question, but he asked it stupidly, asking him to step down. That was, but when it comes to their kind of politics, what they are preaching to their audience, to their supporters, is almost the same thing. Just like kind of, it's our turn. These people are not good. Let's change them. And when you look at the antecedents of Kwankwaso, is we've not heard anything like somebody that have embezzled money. What we've heard about him is he has done well. He came in the first 4 years, he was kicked out, came back again. All his record is he has very good record as the other guy in Labour. So they are very similar. So for me, I can't wait for this election to come and go, because because they have a lot of works in their, they have a lot of works to do. I just came back from Nigeria. I spent at least a day and a month. So there's so many things. There's so much to do, because the people are just from the airport before you get home coming. I don't know how they're going to change those people. It's terrible. So there's a lot of work to do. I hope they are ready for it.
All right, brilliant. Thank you, Brownberry.
Brownberry, you go Nigeria?
I go Nigeria.
I not see you since. I got to wonder where you go.
Yeah,
I go before last month now.
I tried to join 2 times. I know one of the time I just left off. I left. Yeah, I couldn't wait anymore. And the other time, I don't know what happened. It was internet. So yeah, I tried to join twice. Yeah, I just returned on Thursday.
Did you enjoy yourself? What was the experience like for you? So yeah, we know that the poverty is biting, but what was the experience? Did you see anything new? Did you see anything to be hopeful about in your 1 month stay?
I did enjoy myself. I went with my family, so we were 6 of us that went. So my children, my wife. So we enjoyed ourselves. At first, I was scared. What we hear often on social media is that you can't even walk out of your house. Everywhere is just, But I find, I was driving myself around Benin. So You know, I go out and come back everywhere. I mean, you know, my children was okay. Everybody was fine. We didn't have any need to hire any military following us around. No, we didn't do that. No security, nothing. So, you know, the only thing is,
Beber, speaking of that, I heard a lot of people come back for being this period for Christmas. It's beautiful.
yeah, a lot of people, because there was lots of people with families. I mean, for me,
Yeah.
in this city that I live, in this little city that I live here in Ontario, you know, I mean, about 5 or 6 of us went with our families, different, you know. So
Some
just
small bills be that for your airport, for
just to
play your ticket.
just to be alone. So just imagine a
Yes,
lot
I
of
was thinking about that as well. You know,
Ticket. That ticket is not small bill, man.
no,
your wallet would have taken a good beating.
I'm
Yeah?
telling you, you know, but we thank God. I mean, you know, so the children had fun, you know, because we're able to make sure, you know, I'm still able to control them. The eldest one is 10, you know, it's 10 to 3. So I have, you know, Wi-Fi in the house, DSTV and everything, just to make sure to keep them busy, you know. So it was my friend that had like 18-year-old, 16-year-old teenagers. He was the one that was finding it very difficult, because teenagers, you know, they don't hang
No,
out.
you can't keep them indoors.
You can't keep them on the phone, you know. You can't keep them on the tablet, you know. So those ones were they just wanted to come back, because they were, you know, they got very bored easily.
Yes, because they can't run free.
No,
and they're used to running free. Just
yeah,
get go out of the house and just go wherever.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, but you can't do that in that country. Just leave
I
them.
know.
You know.
You
So
know.
apart from that, everything is good. It's just that the you know, in the airport, there's so much going on. I mean, people just, you do your job, you're asking money. You do your job, you're asking money. You do your job, you're asking money. I mean, it's
You
just
know, it's one of the biggest pains that
sickening. It is sickening.
they've not resolved that. That airport has been the same for I can't remember how long. It should just be a simple process now.
Oh God.
You go to the immigration, you get stamped in or rejected. You go to the customs, your bag is cleared or not, and off you go. It's not and then you have so many people, they don't wear proper identification. It's just a mess, you know.
It's a mess, my brother. That's why I'm saying, I mean, there's a lot to do. Okay, now you just got into the airport. Okay, they put your bag through, and they say, oh, let's just check one of the bag. I mean, these are almost 18 bags. You want to check one of those? Check it. Okay, check it. Oh, after checking it, oh, appreciate us. Appreciate you for what? I said, why will I appreciate you? You should be appreciating me, because I came here to even spend money. You should be appreciating me. And if you look at the person, they're saying this is a grandmother talking to me anyhow, you know. And I just
it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
It's a traumatic experience going
It
through.
is.
Going through a Nigerian, but the Abuja one is a lot better actually, because my experience with the Abuja airport, very civilized, you know. In fact, I had to comment the guy, and he said, no, we're trying to make improvements, but I said, oh, try and extend those improvements to Lagos. Very polite. I don't know, maybe it's because it's a northerner, you know. With an educated northerner, you get the close as you can to maybe like a British experience, but you know,
do you know,
a lot of
our ticket was to Abuja. We were supposed to go to Abuja, but you remember that British and American intelligence that said something was going to happen. You know, so that was why we changed it. You know, because we have a place to stay in Abuja. I said, okay, you know what? This I'm taking children. If it was just me and my wife, no problem. I'm taking children with this. Something they said is going to happen, and that was why we changed it to Benin. You know, so it's just a mess. Going and coming back. Even the local airport, you are there. You pay to you know, you got your ticket. Just give me my pass. Let me go. If you give them 1,000, they'll be angry.
Oh yeah. So what's the dash level now in Nigeria? So you are stopped by a policeman. So what's the dash level? So it's not 100 naira anymore. You can't just give them 100 naira. I'll say.
I was never stopped. I was never stopped by a police person. I was driving a vehicle without any number. Throughout my stay, I was never stopped. Whenever they see me, they'll just say, "Oh, God, they go." You know. So but they always stop all those taxi drivers, all those poor people. You understand? That's just the, you know, the painful thing about everything is that they just look at people they can just extort money from, and they will stop those people. So police officers, there's some police officers, they wanted to, they were they were just cursing me out outside the airport because they said they've been there watching over me before my bags were brought out, so I should give them money. I said, you're doing your job, I can't give you money. So because I just made up my mind that if I'm not giving money while I'm leaving, even at that, I still spend a lot of money inside the airport just for nothing. So
it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable, my brother. There's a lot of work to do, when it comes to this, military, immigration, customs, police. I don't know what they're gonna do with them. I'm telling you.
All right, good to have you back safely. So that's Brownberry, who has survived Nigeria and come back to tell this story. So good to have you back. So
Thank you so much.
from you, let's go on to Gideon. And the first question to Gideon is, how come your name is Gideon? You being a female? But from there, and that's just a joke, by the way. So, but from there, Gideon, then the Kwankwaso space, your feedback, Gideon. Hopefully you're still there. We always miss you. Yeah, we missed her again. Are you there, Gideon? Gideon, are you not there? All right. All right. Join us next time. The next time you join us, Gideon, I'll come to you quickly because you always come in, but we never really get to hear from you. And I'm quite aware of that. So if you're still here, I'll just indicate and then we hear from you. But let me acknowledge George Blue Shell's super chat, the only one that's coming. It says, you don't go low when they go low. Oh my gosh. So it looks as though he's hearing that for the first time and especially impressed. That was Michelle Obama quote. It's actually when they go low, you go high. But there it is. You don't go low when they go low. So there it is. So you don't go low when they go low, but how high or low did Kwankwaso go? So come share thoughts about all that with us in the comment section. And we are also premiering the session we had yesterday on the YouTube platform. So if you've not had the chance yet to watch that, click on that link that is in the comment section. So go and watch that as the backdrop noise to your day. So something to have in the background. So click on that link in the comment section. Go watch our yesterday's session in the build up to tonight's session. At some point, there'll be concurrently a one man went to more thing going on in real time. So that's not to be saying I'm going to be live streaming 24 hours, but there'll be a lot of premiering and a lot of live streaming. So all of that. So thank you, one and all. We reconvene for the usual time. So well done, Kwankwaso, and especially well done to the guys. Gideon, I'm still waiting to hear if you're still there before I round off. We'll hear from you. Gideon, last calls for Gideon. Last calls for Gideon. Oh, all right, no Gideon. So thank you, Gideon, and thank you, one and all. So I'll leave you there. Carry conversation on within the comment section, but here I say peace. Thank you, everyone.